to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets,
Jets. Yes. What is going on, everybody? Here we are. We're back. I am excited to be here. This is GreenBean, and you are hanging out on the Thursday thick of it with us. I am in a very, very good mood for myriad reasons, but the reason that I claim is the main reason that I'm in a good mood is because we have some really, really awesome people to hang out with tonight. We haven't gotten the chance to hang out with these guys since the earlier portion of last season, and we had an absolute blast. We did a couple streams. They let us into their amazing party with Nick Mangold out in the UK for the Jets UK game against the Falcons. They brought us in. They did Jets chants. It was amazing, and we have them back. That is Gangrene UK, and I couldn't be in a better mood and more excited to chat with them. Turns out one of these fellas, this is his 8th country he's visited today virtually. So what do you think about that? It's amazing. It's an amazing world. But before we bring those fellas on, I want to say hello to somebody else very important, and I want to make sure he knows. I'm excited about you two. I really am. I'm sincerely excited to talk about this wonderful news we have bubbling out of Jets camp today. And that is our co-host, Frankie from Flatbush. Let's say hello to Frankie. What's cooking? Good looking?
And all of Jetnation sings in unison. Everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. No Becton, no cry.
Oh,
yeah,
my gosh.
Yeah. No Becton, no cry. Yeah.
I like this. This is good, Frank. Yeah, you know what? You have quite the delightful singing voice, my friend.
No, not really. But,
yes,
but
I like it. I am a fan. Frankie. Are you, look, and we're going to get obviously deeper into that, but are you feeling a little bit better than maybe yesterday with the situation?
Monday was a gut punch. I really was upset for Mekhi. He'd worked so hard. I felt bad for him. And of course I was worried and wondering what the heck we're going to do. But, Joe Douglas, never fear. Joe Douglas has a plan B and a C and a D and an E and an F, and he came through. Right. So first he gave us, in typical Joe Douglas fashion, first he gave us a guy named Buenas noches or something.
That's
Caleb
yeah.
Buenas noches. Good night,
right.
Everybody. Buenas noches. And we thought that was it. We got Buenas noches and Glazer. And who are these people? It was similar to the start of free agency when we were all excited about all the free agents we were going to get. And Joe Douglas hits us with LaMarcus Joyner and Connor McDermott. And we were like, what's going on? But then he gets to work and he delivers on Dwayne Brown. So I think everybody's feeling pretty good now, even though, we all still feel bad for Mekhi, of course. Yeah. But,
it's tough. It really is, man. And, guys like us who have defended Mekhi Becton and the decision to support him, it's even more difficult. I don't know if you've gotten any, but I've received at least 24 told you so's. I mean, at least maybe 30, 50, so that doesn't feel awesome. It's when you're feeling glum, having people go, "Hey, how you feeling?" That's never fun either. So let's say hello to some people in the chat, Frankie. We got the Down Under buncher here. Bismo Charismo came in early, right after Nathan Colgrove, who is very proud to say he is first. Bismo was right on his heels. A rider from and Talon's Pa. That's pretty good. But then we also have Braden from New Zealand is also here. This is a truly international show. I love being able to talk to all these Jets fans from all over the world. I think it's amazing. I really, really do. Hawk is here. We also have Harry, our good buddy Harry, who we're going to see opening day. And we meaning all the people that live in I'm not sure if you're going, but we will see Harry at opening day. He's flying up just for the game. Amazing. Ant Jets is here. Jay-Z, Jet fan, Jets forever, lets us start the stream with his traditional green heart, letting everybody know he loves us right before he lets us know that Kyle Hamilton just recovered a fumble. So what do you think of that? Man, there you go. Good. Good for
got a lot
anybody.
of luck.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of luck going for him.
There you go. Hey, man, I love a lucky player. I love a lucky player.
We would take it.
So I'm really happy to have you guys here. Twisted is here. Stephen Engel is back. It's good to have you guys. Jim Pock, Ryan Jet. What's up, Jets fan? What's up with you, buddy? Mitt Flair. Yeah, we're all here. It's great. And with that said, we are going to bring on our special guests for tonight. Again, I sincerely love talking to these guys. We hit it off right away. From my perspective, they could feel differently, Frankie. I don't know. But
Everybody loves GreenBean. What are you talking about?
But I love these guys. And let's say hello to Gangrene UK. We have Ant and we have Otis. What is cooking, guys? Ant, how you doing, buddy?
It's great to be back, Bean. We're doing good. Excited. Like, we're less than 24 hours away from football. It might be meaningless football, but it's still football.
That's right. See, I love that. I put perfectly. It may be meaningless. We might be watching guys that aren't Jets in mere weeks, but it's football, isn't it? And it's our football. I love that you said that. Otis, what's cooking, buddy? How you doing?
Yeah, very, very well. Really, really excited about what the team's been doing, about what Joe Douglas has been doing, particularly the last, what seems like 24 hours. He's really taken a bad situation and turned it around. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing what this team's going to look like in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Now let me ask you guys, Frankie just, he said it well, but he talked about the gut punch, and some Jets fans, look, if we're being frank, there were a lot of Jets fans that this is exactly what they were fearing all offseason. Going into the draft, they wanted guys like maybe Ike Ekwonu or Evan Neal, or if not them, they wanted us to use maybe a second-round pick on one of the tackles that slipped through. There were a couple. And a lot of guys like myself were like, look, we don't need one. We have other positions that are, vacant of any premier talent. We have tackles. So there was a lot of fans, kind of calling for this. And, this is what we feared. It was Mekhi Becton, this young man, 22 years old, who for whatever reason just struggles staying healthy. And it wasn't that way in college. He had little nicks and scrapes and stuff like that, but he wasn't an injury prone guy. He played 14 games his rookie year. And now he's got this label of injury prone. Boom. Trying to shake it off, and he's out already. So Otis, what do you think about that and what Joe Douglas did? Like, sincerely, because there are some question marks with Dwayne Brown coming in. It shakes things up. So who's going to play left? Who's going to play right? So how you feeling about the whole situation?
So I think it was handled as well as could be expected this offseason with regards to Becton. I think you don't invest in an 11th overall pick in a guy to then give up on him after one big injury, particularly on one that was essentially out of his control. He got rolled up on. This one seems to be sort of out of his control as well, so I don't really think it's something fans should hold against him. We've spoken a lot about in our group and about how the team needs to stick by him and support him. He's still on his rookie contract and there's still value there. With regards to what JD's done, first off in the draft, I actually think it's being overlooked slightly because of where he was taken, but Max Mitchell offers a really big chunk of upside, and I think we'll probably get a good look at being in and around the starting lineup for the preseason games and potentially until Brown gets fully up to speed. And in Brown, he's brought in somebody that we know can play, that has been a Pro Bowl tackle as recently as last year. So I think it's a very sensible move. It's a very Joe Douglas move to make sure that he knows what his rookie quarterback or second-year quarterback now can do. If they can keep him upright this year, at least they can evaluate him. But we need to keep him upright in order to be able to do that. It was the complaint we had with Sam. It was the complaint we had with QBs before that. If they're on their back, you can't tell if they're any good or not. So at least they're giving Sam a chance to stand up now.
Yeah. Well said, man. I mean, that's the key. How many excuses did we have? And it's not that the quarterback himself, Zach Wilson, had any excuses, but it's like, as fans, as reporters or whatever, there was always that thought that, hey, how can you evaluate a guy? He's got no offensive line and then no receivers and X, Y, and Z. And now we seem to have that. And this big hole, which was only a 48-hour issue, is now seemingly at least addressed with a pretty damn good player. Older, but a pretty good player. Now, Ant, what do you think about the idea that that Fant would slide over to the right side. I mean, putting Dwayne Brown, he's a Pro Bowl left tackle, 37 years old, sliding him over doesn't make that much sense to me. I think he's here to play left tackle, but Fant has made it very clear he wants to play left tackle. He came here to play left tackle. He's got left tackle on his Instagram and everything else, even when they didn't make the decision. So what do you think about that? You think Fant's going to be all bent out of shape, or do you think he'll be okay and fine and, a team guy, or what do you see happening?
So I think it's one of those where Fant has played right tackle, and he was a fair right tackle. I mean, the majority of his time in Seattle when he was good, he played left tackle. We'll give him that. But he has played right tackle for us. The thing with Dwayne Brown, he's played 3 snaps in 18 years. He's played 3 snaps at right tackle. Right. And we know some of the young lads that come in and they do the transition, it takes them an age, and they've only got 3 years experience. This guy's got 18. He's got more experience than some of these guys that are coming into the league have been alive.
That's right. Think about that.
For me, it's just Fant wants to be a left tackle because he wants to be paid like a left tackle, and I do not blame him. He has worked his socks off. He deserves a contract. So we just pay him well and put him in, and he plays right tackle. As long as he gets a contract that's in the top 10% of right tackles, probably top 7% of right tackles in pay, he's not going to complain. And he knows he's going to be a starting right tackle. He knows he's going to stand out. He's going to be back next to Vera Tucker, who, let's face it, give him the confidence to play so well at right tackle. And then on the other side, we're going to have Laken Tomlinson and Dwayne Brown. All of a sudden, like, the weakest link is always going to be centre. But with the rest of that line around it, I'm okay with the centre. So, for me, it's not even a question. Like, if we brought in a player now that we knew was an out-and-out number 1 wide receiver, we wouldn't be questioning whether he would be going in and Corey Davis stepping down onto a 2. If it was a proven number 1 out-and-out, we wouldn't even be having the conversation. So I don't know why we're having it about left and right tackle. We're going to put the better player in the position because at the end of the day, we need this team to win.
That's right. That's right. Now, Frankie, I'm gonna throw something at you here, and I'm gonna catch you off guard a little bit. But the year that Dwayne Brown came into the league, the Jets took a player over him. Do you know who that player was? He's a first-round pick, Dwayne Brown. Do you know who he was? Who did the Jets take over the Pro Bowl left tackle who doesn't get hurt, as Anders is reminding us? Do you know who it was, Frankie?
Brandon Shell.
No, that was way later. So we have, I mean, look, this guy, you can make a case that this was a pretty good player. So we don't have to complain too much, but we're Mr. Vernon Golston, everybody.
Oh, God.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think?
Sometimes I hate the fact that GreenBean is the Jets historian. It's like some history doesn't need to be brought out into the light, GreenBean.
No. Well, and you know what sucks about that, Frankie, is that, like, I like history, right? Like, my son even
kidding.
He just started high school, and he said that he told the school his favorite subject is history, right? So it's kind of in our blood over here, but it just sucks because Jets history is so poor. Yeah. You know, I want to remember good stuff, but it's all so rough, man. It's tough, but hopefully that's gonna hopefully that's gonna change a little bit with Joe Douglas. I do feel like we're going in the right direction. So I haven't talked to you guys, since the draft, and we've talked about it really a lot. Everybody has kind of their favorite draft pick, and the Jets did some really cool stuff. But Otis, what did you think of how Joe Douglas maneuvered the draft? Was Sauce Gardner who you were expecting the Jets to take? Did you think maybe they would take a left tackle or an edge rusher there? What did you think about the draft, and who was your favorite player that up top that the Jets were able to bring on?
I wasn't expecting Sauce at 4, but mainly because I didn't think Houston would be mad enough not to take him at 3. Right. I didn't see Houston passing on a guy that was a huge culture guy, was a huge need. Stingley's a great corner, but he's not the culture guy that sources, the guy that doesn't miss practice, doesn't miss games. So hugely surprised when he was there, but massively delighted. I think the player I was most happy to see us draft in the first was trading back in for Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah.
A great kid, around him a lot at the Senior Bowl, so they should know a lot about his work ethic, how he sort of comes to play every day. Just generally a kid that's sort of done it the hard way and sort of tried his damnedest to get his opportunity, and now he's got it. So hopefully he can grasp it with two hands and repay Joe, really. And he gave him a lot of props on draft day. He said, "I've been calling to get up for you, and I told you I was going to come and get you." It'd be nice to see that repaid.
Yeah. I have to agree with you. I mean, I thought the first round, the first round was confusing me. I love Sauce Gardner. I think he's a great player. I don't have an issue bringing on a player of that caliber, but I didn't understand it. Like, where's the edge rusher? I thought it was, without question, those first two picks, we're grabbing an edge rusher. And even though I liked Garrett Wilson, when we didn't grab one, I didn't even know what to think. I was confused. I was bewildered. Frankie, I didn't know how to handle it. Trading back up for Jermaine Johnson, the fact that he slid there was amazing to me. So Ant, what'd you think? How about the trade up for Breece Hall in the second round? What do you think of that? Like, actually, throwing all caution to the wind, not listening to what everybody thinks. You can't use a high pick on a running back and all that. What do you think about the guy that we selected and actually trading up to grab a running back so high?
So it's quite funny because I've told this story a few times this week. The draft that night, we were at a draft party in London that the Jets hosted. So when the pick was coming in, like, we were stood with Nick Mangold watching it, and Nick was videoing the reactions. But earlier on in the day, we were talking about who we were going to pick, and I went, I don't know what we're even talking about because we're going to take a running back. And I said it, and like we'd all liked
people
Breece
throwing
Hall.
stuff at you. Shut up, boo!
Like, it was one of them. I said it in passing, but it was like we'd all spoken about it, saying if we were just going to pick the best player available, it would be Breece Hall. But then, as the pick came out, Nick's like videoing around everybody like this, and when the videos came out, Otis has just sat there like in pure shock. But no, I think it was a great pick. I think we made the move that we had to do to get him. Which just kind of solidifies with him that he was the guy that we wanted.
Totally.
And I think everything we saw with him at college, like he has more promise than Saquon had coming out of college for me. And Saquon was picked in the top 5.
Amazing. Think about that. You're not the first person that I've heard say that, right? And I liked Breece Hall. I didn't think that it was realistic. I mean, we talked about it. Frankie and I talked about it. I said, guys, it's possible that the Jets do take a running back in the second round, especially with, using free agency like we did to fix certain things. It just felt like the missing piece could end up being a running back. And Breece Hall was at the top of the class. But when I really put my chips down, I thought we would probably take a running back in the 3rd or 4th round. That's what I really thought. I have to be honest. But grabbing him, dude, this guy 10 years ago, he's the first pick in the, as far as running backs, of course, but he's a top 10, top 15 pick in the draft. And we got that guy at 36. Coupling him with Michael Carter, I think, is amazing. And the tight ends. Like, now we have the offense that LaFleur can actually, that he wants to run. And I think it's exciting, man. Now, Frankie, there's a whole bunch of conversation to move off this real quick. There's a whole bunch of conversation about tomorrow night. As Ant said before, we have football. We have Jets football in just about 24 hours, a little bit less than 24 hours. We have Jets football, and people are worried about playing Zach Wilson. They were talking about maybe 2 series or so. What do you think, Frankie? Is this stupid? Should we just sit him like a lot of other teams are doing, or does he need the work with his, live game speed with these new receivers and everything? What do you think, Frankie? Should we sit him or should we start him?
Well, it's a fine line, right? Because there's different approaches. I think most of the teams play their starters to some degree. Some don't. But I don't think we're at the point where we can sit our young quarterback in particular. He's not Matthew Stafford. He's not he's not Aaron Rodgers. We don't know what he's got. It's been so good so far. Liked everything he's done in the offseason and everything he's done in camp and everything he's done in practice. So far, so good. But I don't think he's at the point where he is a person you can sit. Now, of course, I'm always worried about injury, and it's the worst part of the game. So I think they have the right approach. Let's get him in there. Let's get him some exposure to the Eagles. Hopefully the Eagles play some players because they have a lot of good players, and we'd like to see where we stack up against them. But I do think he's got to play a little bit, and I think they're walking the fine line. Let's get him some reps, get him going against. You don't want him playing against the second and third stringers who are trying to make the team and will do anything to make the team, and they'll cut, they'll take somebody's head off just to impress somebody. You don't want him playing against those guys. Let him just play. Let him play against the starters. A couple of series. It seems to be the right approach. We're not at the point yet where we can just keep everybody out. I don't think, but there is no right answer, really. I mean,
well, there is. We just don't know it yet. When we look back, we're going to be able to know. In 36 hours, we're going to know. We're going to go, you know what we should have did. I'm telling you, there is a right answer. We just don't know it yet. Guys, we are hanging out with Gangrene UK, good friends of ours. Obviously, over in the other country across the pond, they are Jets fans, amazing Jets fans, by the way. This is the group that Nick Mangold actually partnered with to really promote and sell, I would guess is a good word, his barbecue sauce over there. So I'm putting up their Facebook link over here, and you should all give them a follow. They have a robust following on Facebook, lots and lots of different, they have just really I don't want to say aggressive, but I guess robust chats, lots of people involved, and they're an exciting group, man. When we were able to check in on them during their pregame hangout before the Atlanta game over there last year, it was, they were into it, man. So you think we're the only people that can be diehard Jets fans? As we know, we have Braden and Biz in the chat. We got guys from all over the world. These guys happen to be running a very, very potent group over there in the United Kingdom, and you can follow them on Facebook. Now, here's an interesting question. Now, we're talking about Zach Wilson, Otis, but somebody here talks about, what about sitting Carl Lawson? Now, where it is, I got to find it. But what do you think about maybe pitch counting Carl Lawson? He's another one, man. That freaked me out last year, and many Jets fans, we expected such great things from him, and we lost him for the year. Do you think maybe they should sit him, or would you rather see him on the field in the Eagles game?
I think a pitch count is sensible. I think it sort of goes along with all the key starters and sort of what you touched on with Zach as well. These guys have grown up playing football. They've grown up being hit. They need to get their bodies back used to being hit. Right. Hitting your own teammate isn't the same as hitting a guy that is essentially trying to beat you. It's all well and good going against each other in camp, and I'm sure Lawson's getting great reps against Fant. But when you're actually going after somebody else's QB and trying to, tear around somebody else's tackle, it's a completely different prospect. I think in order to make sure that he is fully ready for the season, there needs to be small steps on the pitch count. It needs to be a few tomorrow night, a few the week after, and more again against the Giants in week 3. But I think he has to play just to make sure that he's feeling confident and that the team are confident everything's healed properly. But it needs to be, on a pitch count, sensible, take it steady.
Now, what do you think, Ant? Are you freaked out with by playing Lawson, or do you agree with Otis that you got to get your body going, you got to get used to hitting, and like you said, practices, they're hitting, but it's still it's significantly different than game speed. What do you think about Carl Lawson?
I've got less worry about Carl Lawson than I do other players, because I genuinely do believe that because Lawson's faced these type of injuries before, he's rehabbing. And the way he's came back, he would not put himself in a position where he would set himself back. I think the pitch count is going to happen. I think there'll be a few players that are on pitch count. George Fant will be on a pitch count for the next 3-4 weeks.
Right.
I think Lawson's kind of, for me, he's proven that he's at that point where he has to get back out and hit somebody. And I don't think I would want to be against him on his first snap, because somebody's probably going to get manhandled. then he'll calm down. Yeah, I'm a little bit more worried about other places where we're a little bit thinner, because I think on edge now with the additions in the off season, I think it's okay if Lawson's maybe slower to get back to full. I mean, I don't want that to happen, but if they went, oh look, he's not going to play full speed until week 3, I'd be okay with what we've got behind him. But then, like, safety is one where you think if we take out a starting safety, all of a sudden we're like, oh, we're at that second, third string where we don't want to be. So there's a few other positions that I think we might class as fringe players who, if they go down, all of a sudden we're in quite a scary place.
Yeah, LaMarcus Joyner's, bringing up the safety position. Last year, man, we had a hell of a time keeping safeties on the field. We were signing guys from practice squads off the street, and they were literally starting for us 4 days later. They were on the field with our starting unit. So, losing LaMarcus Joyner could be concerning too. Frankie, are you sitting anybody for the injury fear, or are you just, if they're ready to go, they're on the field?
Yeah, if anybody has anything minor, of course, you sit them out. Don't take any chances. But other than that, I'd probably play everybody a series. I'm worried about everybody. You got to worry. That's what we do. But I think you play them a series, and then you get them out of there. You got to get them acclimated. Because then if you don't play them, and then we come out week 1 and the Ravens punch us in the mouth, and we look like we're flat, then everybody's going to say, "Well, why'd you sit everybody in the preseason, you idiot, Salah?"
Yeah. They're clearly not ready.
They're not ready. You didn't get them ready. What are we, a bunch of babies over here in bubble wrap? So you gotta walk the fine line. So
technically this season they are in bubble wrap. It's just wrapped around their heads.
Yeah. What do you think? Why don't you see those things? Amazing. Look at those things, bubble heads. So, and did you hear Salah? I think it was yesterday, maybe. He said that when they were asking him about concerns about those guys, he said that every play he's like biting his nails about players getting hurt. He's getting traumatized. He's here for 1 season, and he's already like becoming, he's like freaked out. He's all spooked because of the injury thing here. Hopefully, man. Look, we lost Becton, right? And that sucks. There's no way to really frame that other than it sucks. It's just a terrible thing to see happen. But if we make it through training camp with most of the team intact, now that we got Dwayne Brown, I guess the silver lining could be that the injury happened so early in the offseason, as opposed to right before the game or week 1, then all these guys are gone, and now you're really in a pinch. When now we kind of had our pick of a few guys. Darrell Williams is out there, Brandon Shell's out there, Massey's out there. There's quite a few guys that we could have pulled in, and maybe we'll even grab some more. So we have the time for these guys to kind of fold in and be able to learn the system and be ready for week 1. But if we could actually, for the most part, keep our guys healthy, it's going to be remarkably different than what we're used to, man. Look at every week 1. Last year, we lost, like, every free agent on the defensive side was not present week 1. Every one of them. Carl Lawson, Vinnie Curry, Ronald Blair, Jared Davis, and then LaMarcus Joyner. We got him for 5 minutes, but then he was gone. It was like every single free agent was gone. So it would really be a life changer for us if we could show up on week 1 and actually have most of the team, maybe everybody that's left. Imagine that if the only guy we lose is Becton. Oh my God, I would freak out. Is that even realistic, Otis? What do you think? People say it all the time, it's football, injuries are part of it, but what do you think? We have this is the second year of our medical staff that Joe Douglas built. Do you think we're going to be able to, I don't want to jinx it or anything, but do you think we're going to be able to remain healthy?
I think they've got a chance at remaining healthier. I think healthy is a stretch. I think healthier is possible. As you say, it is football and you do lose people. But I think the bit that always, I think, contributes so much to injuries is lack of depth. When you start relying on just the number 1 to play because you don't have a number 2 and the team's going to get torched if you take that number 1 out for 3 plays,
right,
instantly contributes to more injuries because they're more fatigued, they're putting more stress through their body. we're in a position now where we've actually got some, backup running backs, backup wide receivers, backup corners, backup defensive linemen. If we need to give somebody Carl Lawson, Corey Davis, if we need to give them 5 plays off, well, they can take it now, and we should have a wide receiver or a defensive lineman that can come in and give them a good amount of production. And I think that's what will help as much as anything to sort of, reduce those injuries. So yes, Joe Douglas, new health staff, should help, but I think the depth, the roster that he's built should help as well.
Depth is the key. Frankie says it all the time. Actually, he said it once, and I say it all the time. It's not about who you have, it's about who else you have. And that is the key, man. I love it. Now, Duncan puts this all into perspective. This is brilliant, Duncan. I want you to know that. This has layers of humor. We need to sit our starters until the playoffs just to be safe. I think that that's wisdom. There's a lot of wisdom in there. So we got a super chat from Mitt Flair. Thank you, Mitt Flair. He says, besides Zach Wilson, who are you most excited to see play? So what an interesting shift, right? It's kind of a similar question, but how about spinning it to the positive side? I like that, Mitt Flair. So, Ant, who's the guy you're most excited to see tomorrow, and why? Is he on offense, defense? What do you got?
See, it's a tough one because obviously you want to see some of the rookies. You want to see that. The one probably overall, I'm going to probably say it's going to have to be Clemons.
Ooh.
If he's as advanced as what they're saying that he is. Because he's meant to have violent hands. He's meant to be quick off the mark. I'm excited to see that. Then probably on the other side, I don't know. That's a tough one. Probably one of the free agent tight ends, just to kind of get a feel for where they're at, because I think CJ brings the character and there's something about him that I just want him to be awesome. But I think Conklin's going to be the guy that shows off this season.
Seems to be that way, man. I mean, the early returns are Zach likes himself some Conklin, right? That's what we're seeing in the green and white scrimmage. This is a good question. So, Otis, I'm real curious. Who are you most excited? Do you agree? Michael Clemons was a good answer, man. I'm going to tell you, you reached in the hand, in the grab bag, nice and deep there, and that's a good answer. What do you think, Otis? Who are you most excited to see play in the preseason this year?
On defense, I think Clemons is a great shout. But also, so on defense, I guess I'm interested to see what Michael Carter II does, and potentially Brandon Eccles as well. Those pair, they're going to be fighting for a roster spot somewhere for us, probably in that nickel package. And it's going to be interesting to see what those two guys do when it comes to playing preseason, because they're probably going to be asked to play outside and play against some better players. So that should see some interesting development there. And on offense, I'm excited to see the rookie that isn't a rookie because he's just been injured all the bloody time. And that is Denzel Mims.
Denzel Mims, Frankie.
Mimsy.
Yeah, Mimsy. There he is. I like this Otis guy. This is
Can't
good.
wait to see what a healthy Denzel Mims can offer. I was so delighted to see the first depth chart come out, 4 days ago, and Mims be backing up Corey Davis. So he's already pushing from far further up the depth chart than he was at any point last year, certainly at this stage anyway. So I'm just interested to see what he can potentially bring. And if we do sit some of the starters like people are asking us to, I think you might actually get to see Mims run with potentially Garrett Wilson and Zach Wilson straight away. You might, if they decide to sit Corey Davis, if they decide to sit Elijah Moore because they've been in the offense for a year, I think you could see those two guys as the starting two wide receivers, and Mims might get a bit of workout really quickly and really early.
I think so. Why not, man? He's a man on fire this year. I mean, he came back. His body, his frame looked completely different. He clearly added muscle. His trainer came out and said, look, man, do not bet against this guy. He's on fire. And then we see him in training camp, turning heads quite a few times so far. He even got into a little bit of a scuffle, threw some punches. He's like, hey, man, I'm not having it this year. I'm done. Yeah. Food poisoning, COVID, he had everything. That's it. I'm done with this madness. I am a starting wide receiver in the NFL, and it's time that people know it. I love it. Now, Frankie, before we get into your answer, I want to see if these guys saw something here. because Ant and then Otis as well mentioned Michael Clemons. Did you guys see this? Now let me. I'm gonna wait till it's over and so I don't know how to fucking do anything. So let me see here. Frankie, did you see that? Did you guys see that? I'll turn the volume on in a second. Here it is. Okay.
I'm mic'd up, Mike. So just I don't be saying much. I just want to let you know I gotta let the D-line know.
Frankie, did you see that one yet?
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah. So, what's his name? Carl Lawson doing the right thing, letting people know, hey, I'm mic'd up before you say anything sketchy. And then they identify where the camera is. He look okay, and then he goes and reaches for the handshake, and Carl Lawson's already gone. I don't think that Clemons could have responded in a better way. Shake my own damn hand. Okay. Look how big Michael Clemons is. Can you look? Just look at this guy. Look how big he is. And Carl Lawson is a very big man. Look at him.
I gotta let the D-line know.
Oh, I love it.
He's funny as hell.
Yeah, he's got quite the personality. Clearly he's a little bit like introverted. If you just leave him alone, he doesn't seem to need the attention. But if you engage him, and he's a very attractive personality. I happen to love that guy. What a pick that was. So I like that. I'll tell you what, and that might be my answer. I might be most excited to see Michael Clemons. But Frankie, who do you got? Who's the guys that you're most excited to see offense and defense this week?
Well, Frankie has a long memory, Green Bean, and I remember last year when we played a team called the Philadelphia Eagles, and they have a player on that team whose name is Fletcher Cox. And Fletcher Cox was laughing at us. And I don't know if you remember that, but C.J. Mosley got a little upset, and it was like, C.J., that's great that you're upset. Instead of being upset, how about beating them? Right. Could we beat them? And so I think we have a little bit of unfinished business with these Eagles and with Mr. Cox. And so I hope Mr. Cox is playing, and I hope our offensive line pounds him into the ground and makes him rethink his whole entire life.
All right, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it to him, Frankie? Who do you got?
I don't
Max
know.
Mitchell? Maybe Max Mitchell.
I don't know. Maybe it's Laken Tomlinson. Maybe Laken's the one who shows the way. Maybe
what would be better if it was Chuma or Adorga?
Yeah.
Chuma does one big tackle in his life and it's on Fletcher Cox. That would be priceless.
That would be right. That's it. He comes in for a play and just flattens Fletcher Cox.
Literally, you keep him on the depth chart just for that.
Right. Well, Chuma's a weird, anomalous player, man. He has figured out a way to stay around. This is his second coaching staff. He was drafted for the Adam Gase's first year, but he's now in his second year, 2 years with Adam Gase, 2 years with Robert Saleh, and they seem to like him. I mean, who knows? Maybe this guy, it's like he's just second year in the system. He's going to be a stud muffin. Who knows, right? If he flattens Fletcher Cox, he's gonna gain a lot of respect and love from the Jet fans at large. Frankie, who's your offensive guy? Whoever flattens Fletcher Cox, or defense? Maybe defense now. Yeah. What do you got?
Well, I want to see Max Mitchell. I want to see what we got there. Do we got something? Do we got a guy who could play next year or sometime, or is he just another, developmental prospect? So I think we'll be able to tell that because he should be starting tomorrow because Dwayne Brown's not here yet. So, I want to see him go against the first. And does he look lost out there? Does he look like he's completely lost, or does he, have a shot? He's doing all right. So I'd like to see that. And of course, I want to see Mimsy. I want to see Mimsy light up the scoreboard and score about 3 touchdowns. And then I guess on the defense, I do want to see Michael Clemons. I want to see, how Quan Alexander is going to play. I want to see what is Sherwood and Nas going to be doing around here exactly. I want to figure that out. What are they doing? Are they just developmental? They're going to be on the bench all year? Are they going to have a role? They're going to be doing something. So I'd like to see that too.
I think he's playing for a position. I think he's playing for a spot. Like, he could very much just drop onto the practice squad this year.
If you could get him there. I mean, if you could get him to the P squad. But We got all these people now. So we're going to have to lose people that we love. That's just the way it is.
Right. And that's a good thing, right? I mean, we're used to being able to carry all these lower level guys that warm our hearts, but they suck. You know what I mean? And when it comes down to it, then they leave the Jets and they're done. Like no other team, not 31 other teams won't play them. So it's like it at some point we have to get to that level, that tier where we're losing guys that could make rosters elsewhere, And like you said, guys that a lot of us love. I mean, look, we researched the hell out of these guys before they're even in the NFL. And, when we like guys that the team happens to pick and bring on and they're developing for a year or two, you really can't help but root maybe a little bit more for them than even some other guys. And then they get cut and it sucks. But hey, if we're able to lose good players, the only thing I ask is that you keep the right player. Don't let the wrong player go like we've done in the past. So that happens. But anyway, it's pretty good. We have another super chat from Daniel Faust. Thank you, Daniel. He says, the miracle ceiling for the Jets is Super Bowl. Well, technically speaking, Daniel, you are 100% correct. This year, an insider, One Jets Drive, told me yes. So let's see. The miracle ceiling is the Super Bowl this year. An insider at One Jets Drive told me. So do you think the Jets really think, Otis, you think the Jets really think they can make the Super Bowl? I mean, every team, of course, they think they're going to win and all that. You think that that's really a part of our conversation? Super Bowl?
I think the start of the conversation, and I think the conversation they'll all be having is just make the playoffs, make the dance, just have a chance of being in there with a lottery ticket. If you can get to knockout football, I think the Jets would be over the moon. I think they will be talking Super Bowl in terms of trying to give each other aspirations and talk up those dreams and get that motivation. And rightfully so. We've got players that have been there now with some of the free agent signings we've made. So I think that sort of culture is coming into the team potentially. People like CJ have bought that in. But I think make the playoffs, punch a ticket, get a chance at maybe, a dream season, but just making the playoffs would be a great start.
That's right. Yeah, I like it. Make the playoffs. Just win 10 games or so, squeak in at the 7th spot. Nobody cares. Just get in the dance, and then let's see what happens. And then turn Michael Clemons and Max Mitchell and Chuma Edoga loose on the NFL. That's what's going to happen. We're going to see it go that way. Now, I want to show you all this talk about Denzel Mims. I can't help it. I'm going to show you guys. Now, last preseason, I know some people remember, but a lot of Jets fans have chosen to forget. Last preseason, Denzel Mims had quite the play, quite the day. So let's watch this first. I'm going to leave the sound off. And then let's just take a look. This is against the Giants. It was 3rd and 18, as you can see on the bottom. 3rd and 18. Somebody needs to make a play. And Denzel Mims' number was called. And this is what he did, everybody. Look at that. Little scoot and shoot. Little bap. Boop, beep, boop. I'm going to run through you. Nope. Don't want to go down still. No, I'm not done. Here we go. 20 yards for Denzel Mims. So it would be nice to see some sort of replication of that. It doesn't have to be that, of course, but just a few opportunities for Denzel Mims to get his hands on the ball, maybe show his yak, because that's one of his strongest suits. The strongest aspects of his game is the fact that he has good hands, but when he gets the ball in his hands, he doesn't just go down easily much of the time. I mean, there are so many times he's so big and so long and so strong that even when he shakes a guy just for a minute, he gets 8-9 yards extra just like that with seemingly very little effort. So I'm hoping that Denzel Mims, this upward trend continues. No more food poisoning, no more COVID, no more nothing for Denzel Mims. It would be really, really cool. So, all right. So I don't know. Ant, you think we probably agree with Otis, right? We just got to get into the dance here. I mean, you think there's any realistic potential for us making the Super Bowl this year, buddy?
There's always potential. I mean,
yeah,
you know by now, Bean, I am the forever optimist. I mean, I'm literally looking at the AFC now, and I'm looking at it thinking, other than maybe 2 teams, I wouldn't be upset playing any of them in the playoffs because I think that a lot of them are beatable on on paper, what we've got and what we know about them at the minute. I mean, the ones that you've got to look at and go, I don't want to play them. Kansas, Chargers, Bengals. That's probably right. I'll put the Bills in there because obviously, I mean, I don't agree with it, but I know the league seem to like the Bills. But if we come out of it, the likeliness we get the Bills in a wild card round is slim. So then we're probably going to be looking at Tennessee or Indianapolis because, let's face it, Jags and Houston are rubbish. We've beat both of those teams in the last 2 years when we were terrible. So then all of a sudden, now we're going into the divisional round where we're probably going to be looking at, in reality, Ravens, Bengals, Chiefs, Chargers. We'll beat the Ravens week 1. So then if we get them in the playoffs, we'll beat them again. And all of a sudden, we're going to be going against maybe the Bengals, Chiefs, or Chargers. And it'll probably be Kansas. And I think we could beat them because we all know they can be beaten, especially in a big game. So why can we not make the Super Bowl?
There you go. Frankie, I like this guy. You know what I'm saying?
There's a little something that's sort of like a precondition to all this talk. And that is you have to have a quarterback who knows what he's doing and can hit the side of a barn. So we have to have, Zach Wilson somebody described it as a Joe Burrow leap. I think it was Chris Sims, actually.
Right.
So he thinks he's going to take a Joe Burrow leap. Well, Joe Burrow's team won 4 games. He was a young quarterback, and then he improved. So his leap wasn't as big as Zach's would have to be, but he was still pretty doggone good his rookie year.
Yeah.
But if Zach makes that Joe Burrow leap, we could go from 4 wins to 10 wins in the play. So all that could happen, but that leap has to happen first. So that's a little precondition of all.
Well, fair enough. But I'll say the favorite part of what Ant just said. I loved it all, 100%. I loved every word. But at the top, the cherry, boop, right on top of the sundae was, well, we're beating the Ravens week 1.
Right. Obviously, we're going to beat former MVP Lamar Jackson. No problem. I mean, come on.
Of course. I like that. That's the way it has to be, too. It has to be. I mean, look, not like, cocky or anything like that, but there has to be that belief. Coming out, the Ravens were decimated by injuries last year. Lots of guys are going to be shaking off rust. They're replacing a lot of guys with noobs all throughout the roster. And it's week 1, September 11th in New York. And I think that if we just capitalize on all those things quickly in the beginning, punch them real hard in the chops, I think we can win the game. We're going to be there. Are you guys flying in for any games this year? Are you making it for week 1 at all?
Not week 1. I'm going to be there for Chicago in November.
That's right. I'm going to go to a second game this year. So if you're going to be there for Chicago, maybe I try to see if I can pull that together so I can meet you. Otis, are you
14 of us going?
14 of you? Yeah, I got to hang out with you guys. Where do you tailgate when you go? Do you have it all figured out?
Well, we've got a tailgate within the package with Tailgate Joe, but we speaking the other day to Jetsfan, and obviously we've spoken to Gotham City, so we might be doing a little bit of a tailgate bounce around.
There you go. That's what we did last year. We bounced around all over the place. People got mad at us though because they were coming to hang out with us and they didn't know we were at the wrong place when they were at the other place. So this year we got to do a better job of that for everybody. But it was fun being able to bounce around and experience different tailgates and meet different people and everything. It's going to be fun week 1, man. I'll tell you. And you know what we're doing, guys? We actually have a fund. And when you guys are gone, we have a second guest for the second hour. The first guy who actually received the benefits of the fund, we have the Wayward Jets Fan Fund. We're trying to get Jets fans who've never been to a Jets home game from around the country, around the world. We have Captain K Techno from Ireland on the list. We're trying to get their airfare and their ticket so they can, we can help them get to their first game. So Iowan Jet is the first one. We got one there, man. So it's amazing. I'm so excited about it, being able to do that. But we're trying to help Jets fans. By the way, everybody, that link is in the description if you want to donate, $1,000 or anything like that. It's really greatly appreciated. $1 will do, though. Anything. If we all gave $1, we'd be that much closer. So anyway, it's pretty exciting. Now, Night Stalker, an old friend of mine who I've tailgated with a couple of times, says Super Bowl. I'm hoping we win 7-8 games. So we're kind of coming to the end of your stopping by, of your spot with us. Now, I'd like to get realistic with you guys. Like, just what do you guys think? And I'll start with you, Otis, because Ant just made that amazing description of our path to the Super Bowl. But so, Otis, what are you expecting from the Jets this season? And what would be a failure? Like, where's the line for you from failure to success? And what do you think the Jets will pull together this year?
I think an overall team record, I'd be very happy to see anywhere between 6 and 8 wins. I think that's realistic. I think if they exceed 8 wins, they've done a fantastic job. My main thing, and I've said this a few times on our chat, is the leap from Zach needs to be evident, and we need to see that. The numbers that I think he needs to sort of put up is I'd like to see him break Joe's single season record for us. I think if he breaks Joe's single season record, you can go, okay, the guy can ball. And if we can get 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions out of him, so he's better than 2-1, you'd be over the moon. I think that's really more important than record for me, is to make sure that Zach is taking the step and that the team is taking the step, that the Joe Douglas vision is showing progress, that the Joe Salah vision is showing progress. We can't afford to sort of be middling around and wasting potentially the best GM we've had for a long time and potentially the best coach we've had for a long time, a lot of people think.
Right. I think it's well said, because if things kind of fall apart, even though most of us think they're doing a good job, at least it makes a ton of sense. Where our GMs in the past, we didn't know what the hell they were trying to accomplish. It was like, wait, why? What is this? Like, we trade a bunch of picks to get a quarterback, and then our next pick is a small school defensive tackle from, Tulane. Like, it didn't make any sense. So it looks like the guys we have right now at least know what they're doing. So it would really be a shame if it falls apart and we decide to move on or something, because, man, I don't know if I got it in me to start. Of course I'll be here, but I don't want to start over. And what are you thinking? You like the 6 to 8 wins thing, or you're a little bit higher than that?
I think 8's a very achievable number. When you go through it, I mean, you can do a week by week, and there's some very close games in there. And there's some that I look at. There's about 3 or 4 games where I'm like, we're losing that game. We're getting beat. And I can take a defeat against those teams because they are better on paper and probably on the field. They're bigger teams. They are genuine teams that can contend. But then we've got teams out there that are in rebuilds like us. I mean, when you look at it, the last 4 games of the season, we should be winning all 4 of them. We've got the Lions, Jaguars, Seahawks, and Dolphins. We're away at the Dolphins, but by that point, the season's done. So we're probably going to we could beat them. But
yeah,
it's the same thing as I said to you last season. I'll take a defeat anytime during the season as long as we don't lose.
I like that. I like that, Frankie. And that's the kind of thing, too. It's like, if we lose games because we're young and we're immature and we can't figure out how to close it out, but we're there, we're competitive, things look good, it's just we can't quite get there. I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. It's the 45-3. It's the 21-0. It's the 54-10. That's the shit. I don't know how much more I can take this without physically vomiting. You know what I mean? It's like it's going to have a physical reaction, man. I don't know. I think that's very well said. Frankie, before we get it, we have one more question. But quickly, what do you think? You think that they're on to something 6, maybe 8 win kind of category? Is that where you reside?
Well, I've said I don't see any reason why we can't go 10-7, but that depends on Zach being good. If Zach hits his numbers, and to me it's 65% completion percentage, then all the things roll. The yardage will come, the Anya, all the other things, moving the ball, more points, keeping the defense off the field. It's hard to score on our defense when they're sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
So all those things, all the dominoes start to fall if Zach is accurate. And so far, by the way, he's been accurate in camp. Nobody's talking about that. So I think if that happens, we can win 10 games. If it doesn't happen, then, who knows, 6-5, it doesn't, it's a quarterback driven league. So, but I think he will. I'm optimistic.
What's that, Ant?
NFL Network, there was a prediction came out today. They had us on 3 wins.
3.
They also had the Cowboys on 14 wins. So,
man, guys, we have to. This year has to be the year where we shut some people up.
Yeah.
And again, if it's 7 wins and a couple of really close losses by a score, so be it. But we need to start shutting these people up. 3 wins. What is this? First overall pick.
Well,
you know what I mean?
If you look at it and say, well, the defense was horrible and Zach was horrible, and you go, they're going to have 3 wins, then you go, okay, but our defense this year is not the same as it was last year. We have vastly improved the defense. People are saying it's night and day from where it was in camp last year to where it is now. And Zach Wilson has to improve. It's almost hard for him to be worse. So he's probably going to improve some. So yeah, if you look at it that way and say, well, Zach Wilson was horrible, so therefore he is horrible, and therefore you will not win much, then you could go, okay, I guess if you look at it that way.
Well, then we always got Mike effing White. So we'll see. Hopefully we never say that again. Last question for you guys before you go. J.E. Allen, thank you for the super chat, man. He says, Berrios is the toughest and most spirited player on the Jets. What are your expectations and predictions? That's a very good question. Berrios, in my opinion, I think that they might think of him as kind of a third wide receiver, a little bit more than maybe a lot of people expect. What do you guys think? Ant, I'll go to you first. What are you expecting from Berrios this year?
I think from Berrios, we're probably going to be looking at a slight upgrade on last year on production, because I think he'll feed a lot more off the fact that we're going to have Davis out there a lot more. We've got Moore now, and then we've also got Wilson. So he is going to find himself in some very favorable matchups. And last year, I mean, when you look at it, he got, I think it was just under 500 yards and about 5 TDs. So if we can get him up to 600-700, which is achievable for him,
right?
And maybe 10 TDs, which would be amazing, because I think he will be that guy that Zach still looks to when his tight ends are taken in the red zone. He'll always have Braxton got his back, because like the question comes in, the spirit and the connection there, they are like, it's a bromance. I mean, if they come back with tattoos of each other, I'm not surprised. So yeah.
I like it. I mean, look, that's kind of what I'm thinking. What about Otis to add to that? What do you think he'll replicate his all-pro returner year? What do you see from Berrios?
Yeah, I think you're still going to see that huge all-round threat, and I think you're going to see a fresher Braxton Berrios because of the depth that's ahead of him. I have a slightly different opinion on where he's going to sit on the depth chart. I think he's going to be the 4th guy. However, with that being said, when you look at the good teams in the NFL now, they're 4 wide receivers are generally starting wide receivers. If you're good and you're passing the ball well, you've got 4 wide as much as you can, and 2 outside wide receivers and 2 slot wide receivers. So I think he'll be a starting wide receiver, just potentially a second slot maybe. But in the return game, I think the freshness of having the ability to take plays off because of the depth will really help him. And the one thing that might stifle him in terms of returns, I think people are going to try and kick away from him more and more. I think it's becoming a more well-known thing now that he's a good player, and it comes to sort of returning the football, and his averages are great. So I think you might see the Devin Hester, the Robert Woods kind of thing, where people just kick away from him and don't want to give him the ball in his hands.
But that would be upsetting. I want to see him with the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm really happy that they brought him back, and for the reasons that like Ant brought it up. There's a bromance there. You want our quarterback's favorite guys, and even just most supportive. The guys that are really close to him. You want to keep that type of energy together. You don't want every year he develops a relationship, gets some chemistry, and then it's a new guy in there, and you try to start all over. I think it's really, really important particularly with a guy like Berrios. So guys, I'm going to let you run. I want to remind everybody that this is the Gangrene UK group here. Very, very established Jets fans from the United Kingdom. Is that the right way to say it? Do we say England? Do we say Britain? What should I be saying? I feel weird.
We slide it in with just UK. We're
UK.
all cool being under one banner.
There you go. So just say UK.
Yeah.
There
And
it is. Probably
we
that's
have
why
just opened a new community on Twitter, Bean, as well. So we've got a Gangrene in the UK and Europe it's a community on Twitter. We're calling it a safe space for international Jets fans.
I like it. And that's on Twitter.
Yeah, it's a support group. It's amazing.
Yeah. I'm going to join up. Can I join?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So Gangrene UK, guys, the link to their Facebook is in the description of this very video. If you would consider it, go ahead and support them. They're awesome, man. I mean, they're just a very impressive group of people. I love all of them. I've met now, like 6 or 7 of you guys, maybe like 8. And everybody's just amazing. I really love the time that we get to spend with you guys. Thank you for being on. Is there anything else that you want to promote or anything before you go?
No, that's just excited for tomorrow. And we'll get you on our show soon, Bean, and we'll touch base again, and we'll see if our predictions are coming true.
Yeah. Especially that all-important prediction, Ant, of you saying that, well, we're going to beat the Ravens week 1. That's the most important. That's the takeaway. Yeah.
Obviously.
We're doing a meet for week 1, so when we beat them, I'll drop you a message.
There you go. Right. I'll be waiting for it, man. Excitedly waiting for it. So Otis and Ant from Gangrene UK. Have a good night, guys. Thanks again for stopping by.
Cheers. Thanks. We'll see you soon, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
And there they go. Where'd he go? See you, Ant. That was Gangrene UK. What cool dudes, man. Isn't it amazing that the Jets, being such a piss poor team, Frankie, for so long, that we have such a robust fan base around the world. I mean, we got guys that check in here from Malaysia. We get guys Ireland, Germany, the UK, obviously New Zealand and Australia. I'm even surprised when there's guys that call it like, hey, I'm from Oklahoma. I'm like, how the hell did you become a Jets fan?
But what's more impressive, GreenBean, they get to hang out with Nick Mangold. I don't get to hang out with Nick Mangold. I don't get to hang out with DeBrickashaw Ferguson. I'm lucky if I get to hang out with, Vernon Goldston or something. But how do they get all of the good gigs? It must be the accents.
Yeah, maybe. Very, very. It's delightful to listen to, isn't it? Right, Ant? Yeah. It's delightful. Yeah. Well, I know. Well, you know what I think it is? I think they're just actually smart guys. You know what I mean? They're just smart guys.
Imagine that.
And they know what they're doing. And hey, you might as well make something out of this damn Jets thing because they don't give us much. It's coming. I know it is, but it's good to see, people actually be able to develop relationships and chemistry with legendary Jets like that, like the Jet Lounge, all the stuff that they're doing in Gangrene UK with Nick Mangold. It was so cool, Frankie, last year when we got to check in with them. They were at the event and they did like a couple Jets chants in the whole place. And you see all these Jets fans over there in the UK, like ravenous. And they were telling us that on the streets before the game, like you couldn't even tell that Atlanta was playing. It was like one Atlanta fan for every 50 Jets fans. And that's just amazing. Like we have such a passionate fan base. It's truly incredible. It really is.
Yeah, that's amazing. Imagine if we actually won some games around here. What would happen then? I mean, we'd blow the roof off of this place.
Dude, if we become a good team, let me tell you something. It's going to be almost impossible to deal with us. All right. Almost. Okay. Because we're out there now, man. God forbid. Look, Rich Cimini said, in the offseason, hey, keep an eye on A.J. Brown. He knows Elijah Moore. We inundated that poor fella with and the Tennessee Titans. They had to make a statement. They had to put out a statement. Like, stop. Leave us alone. That's us. That's us. You could use the word deranged, Frankie.
You could. You
Right?
Really could.
So we have another special guest. Now, guys, this gentleman, I'm going to use that term, even though I'm not fully convinced that it's accurate. I'm going to use it nonetheless. This is a gentleman that is a member of the Beanbaggers and part of The third tier of beanbaggerism is that you get to come on live with us and hang out. Now, he's been live with me before. This is his second time, but that's not even really why he's here. He's here because he is the first recipient, and in truth, he's the creator of. So I want to give him full props for what is now called the GreenBean's Wayward Jetsfan Fund. At one time, it was the Iowan Jet, please, anybody help me get to a damn game fund. That's what it was. So let's bring on our good friend, Iowan Jetsfan, and say hello. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing, GreenBean?
Oh, I'm on fire. I'm on fire. That's how I'm doing.
Nice.
Ask Frankie.
Francis, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Are you glad to be here? Are you excited for the season? Are you all fired up?
I am extremely fired up. I mean, we're going to go 12-5. We're going to sweep the AFC North. It's going to be a fantastic season.
All right. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I love it. Now, it's a Iowan Jets fan. Are you okay with your name slipping out of my mouth? Is that, or you want to just? I mean, I'm going to keep you Iowan Jet, but I just want to know if I need to lockbox it.
No, you're fine. You can call me Reed. It's okay.
Oh, there it is. Look, here's Braden. Reed.
Hey, I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, it didn't take very long. Braden is also in the Beanbaggers, and we have a good time in there, man. It's really, I can't wait to announce the season schedule. We have lots of private live streams and even like post-game live streams where it's just us, all kinds of fun stuff we got on the cooker. And I can't wait till it's all whipped up for you guys. But I appreciate you guys, man. And it's always fun. So Reed, real quick, we are very close to getting the next person to a Jets game. Now, what we're doing, guys, is we're trying to collect as many donations as we can. We've accepted donations of tickets. We have donations of parking pass. Reed even got a donation for some place to stay and a ride. So all kinds of fun stuff. There's lots of ways that you can help, but probably the simplest way is if you have $5 or so, you can donate to the fund. We have a list. I think our list is about 6 or 7 strong right now, and I have to check my Instagram to see if there's a few more. I don't know how many we'll be able to help, but we're trying to get as many Jets fans from around the country and the world to their first Jets home game. Now, Iowan Jets fan, why don't you tell everybody who's on deck? What's the story? What are we doing with this thing?
Well, right now we're trying to get Jonathan from Albuquerque. He's next. We're about halfway there, getting the funds together. Of course, it depends on whether or not we get if we have to pay for a ticket or not. You know, obviously that every little bit helps. But yeah, like I said, we're about halfway getting him there, and then man on deck would be Mr. Bradigan himself.
Oh, nice.
So that's what we're looking at. And, you know, how many people do we have in the chat tonight? Or we have 232 people watching right now. $10 a piece gets pretty much all 6 of our people that are waiting there. Wow. You know, so yeah, it would be fantastic if we just help out a little bit. And to all of those that have donated already, thank you so much for helping me get there, helping the rest of us get there. Rob V is a stud because he's the guy who's putting me up and basically being my personal chauffeur for the weekend, and that's super awesome of him. So
yeah, and that's right. It's amazing. Think about this, guys. This fella is from Iowa. Okay. He's a Jets fan. He didn't live in New York and moved to Iowa. He's from Iowa, and he's a Jets fan, and he's never been able to go to a Jets home game. Think of the experience that he's going to have coming to opening day this year with all of us maniacs. He's even, we're going to hang out at the tailgate and everything like that. It's going to be amazing. He's going to get the full experience. I love showing people the deal. I also love showing people like the New York City skyline and all that shit. I don't know, man. I love being the person that can be a part of showing people like Jets fandom. I loved bringing my son to we were going to all the games down in Miami. We lived in Miami for a bunch of years, not too far from the stadium. So every time the Jets played down there every year, I would bring my son, and he kind of grew up. He was a little kid watching the Jets play in an away stadium. So he never got that vibe. When I brought him up in 2015 and we won against the Jaguars in that exciting Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker year, my son, he could barely handle it, man. It was like a whole different thing. I'm so excited for you, Iowa. I really am. I think it's going to be amazing.
Right. I mean, I've never heard like a true Jets chant in real life. And a lot of us that are on this list just haven't. We just haven't heard it, and we'd love to. And it's just something I'm really looking forward to. I'll probably lose my voice several times over.
That's fine. That's acceptable. That's acceptable. Right. Now, the next thing we got to do is we got to figure out how to get together with Frankie. We got to do a little Frankie Fest action. Frankie lives in Pittsburgh, and the Jets happen to be going there, so maybe we can get something together, everybody. We got to really bother Frankie for this one. We got to poke him. We got to poke him in the ribs a little bit so we can get Frankie to a Jets game.
Well, what we need for that is someone who knows how to organize people and all of that. I can't do that. I'm here. I'm happy to help out, but if I need like an organizer, GreenBean, like one of those planners, like a planner person. I need somebody like that to put it together.
Well, I'll tell you what, Iowan Jetsfan, I think that's him. I think that's what he wants to do. Do you mind? Hey, Reed, do you mind me spreading your number around to some people so you can organize?
Yes, I do mind.
Oh, you do?
Please do not do that. I can't put together a spreadsheet like Frankie does.
No, few can.
An executive assistant. Maximilian has it in the chat. Yeah, like an executive assistant who knows how to. Yeah. So, but right. Yeah. But I didn't mean to put Reed on the spot there, GreenBean.
No, that's okay. It was me that did it. It was me that really did it. You did kind of an insinuation, and I drove it home. So Chris Bradigan, as you can see, guys, he's in the chat. He's here with us every week. He's a Jets fan up there in the Chicago area, and his story is pretty interesting, man. He's a Jets fan because fuck Chicago. That's why. Remember, like Good Will Hunting. Remember that when Robin Williams asked Damon, what is it? No, I was going to say Damon Wayans. What's his name? Matt Damon. He said, my father used to give me a choice between a belt and a wrench. I always chose the wrench to get beat with. And he said, why? And he goes, because fuck him. That's why. I said, oh, okay. Well, that's why Chris is a Jets fan. It's born in like the spite of it's very real, it's very pure, primal, so getting Chris Bradigan to a game would be fantastic in my opinion as well. And he's next on the list, Reed, after Jonathan.
Yes.
Fantastic. It would be great. This is so cool. I really hope that we can pull this off and be able to get some guys to games. So going off the fun for a little bit, and again, guys, if you want to, if you can, please do. If you can't, no sweat, of course. But we could use it, and we're going to use 100% of the proceeds to help people get to the game. That's all it is. There's no little bit off top, little bit for Reed, little bit for Bean. There's none of that going on. Right. All of it's going into the fun. But so I lost it in the chat, but I want to throw this at you guys. Somebody basically said they think that Breece Hall can really be the second or third in there. It is. Look at that. Fresh and crisp. Look at you.
Yeah.
I love it. That's sharp, man. Breece Hall might be able to be the second or third in receiving yards. So, Frankie, what do you think? Is that realistic? Can we expect such a really prominent impact from Breece Hall in the passing game, or do you think it'll be less than that?
On a second or third on our team in passing yards?
Yeah, like second or third in receiving.
That would be unusual for a West Coast offense. So I looked at all the West Coast offenses that were successful last year and said, what's the yard distribution? Is it wide receivers? Is it tight ends? Do the running backs get it? And the running backs are way down on the list. So the running backs typically get 200, 300, maybe 400 yards or so. It's mostly led by the wide receivers. And then if you have a George Kittle type, he gets up there, or Kelsey, he's going to get a lot of yards. But typically running backs do not get a lot of yards. So if that happened, it would be unusual, and probably something has gone wrong with Corey Davis and Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore and so forth. So I wouldn't anticipate it because it's just unusual for a successful West Coast offense. And that of course assumes that we're going to be successful at throwing the ball, which we kind of have to assume. So I wouldn't. I mean, he's going to be a factor, and like he may rack up a few touchdowns and so forth, and may be a factor, but typically they don't have that many yards.
Yeah, that's interesting because if he were to encroach upon such a prominent role in the passing game, that would mean that Zach Wilson has really become maybe even too comfortable with the check down system that he struggled with last year, trying to push too much and try to make things out of nothing. It could be a positive, but that would maybe even mean a little too much. What do you think? You agree with Frankie Reed, or do you think Breece Hall? Absolutely. He's so good. You want to get him the ball as much as you can. Lots of screens, lots of flares, wheel routes. What do you think?
Well, I mean, he is a do-it-all back because he did it all at Iowa State. He was the offense at Iowa State. And so obviously he could. I don't know if he is going to be third on the team. Maybe if he has like a couple of like 80-yard screens a few times throughout the season. But just in general, I kind of doubt it, like Frankie said, because of our system. And also, I'd like it if we kind of eased up on his workload because, even though Big 12 isn't known for strong defenses, he still went up against a lot of defenses. And a lot of tread to go off the tires.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, man. And like how much like we see guys like Christian McCaffrey and other running backs, but just as a prime example, Christian McCaffrey is clearly the desired focus of the Panthers offense and was even before Rule. And the guy he's worn down. And I mean, I was listening to Sirius XM, excuse me, the other day, yesterday actually, and they were talking about McAdoo, and he's their offensive coordinator now. And that McAdoo is more than likely, if you look back through McAdoo's everything he's done, McCaffrey's going to be the focal point of the offense. And I just find that so spooky because it's like, clearly the last 2 years, the guy was not able to make it, through anywhere near the full season. And then this year, here we are again, and they're going to make him the focal point for however long he can last. And I'd hate to see the same type of thing happen with Breece Hall or Michael Carter for that matter. Just being able to spread it out. Guys like Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis. We have the tight ends, Tyler Conklin. And then in addition to them, Breece Hall and Michael Carter, I think could be just the icing on the muffin. Do you guys ice your muffins in Iowa?
No, we like them warm.
Warm muffins? What is this madness?
You don't like warm muffins?
I love warm muffins, buddy. Now, are corn muffins the rage?
No, they're not.
They're not.
No. Cornbread, or maybe if you make corn muffins, it's because you don't want to make the whole loaf, and it's easier to put in your chili. But
cornbread is big down south, right? Cornbread.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
So maybe because you're up there and like corn is everywhere, it's like not the focal, but you're like, we want something other than corn.
Right.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah. That's why nobody in Maine eats lobster, I think.
Right. So, they're like, whatever. Go get your lobster at the tourist stops. We're done.
Right. Tourists.
Yeah, whatever.
Lobster rolls. I tell you, anybody going to Maine, like my wife is big seafood person, and my kids also like seafood. So when we go to Maine, I hate it. I can't eat it, man. Shrimp is about it. And we go there to the Maine lobster roll place. We looked at, we researched, and we got like the secret gem, not the touristy place. And we go get a lobster roll, and my kids were like, "This is horrid." It had like the green lobster slime. I don't even know, man. I was like, they're like, "This is terrible." I'm like, well, that's it. Welcome to Maine. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Anyway, we have Ab Lab Studios checking in. He says 500 to the GoFundMe. We are going to shake up the world. Go Jets. Ab Lab Studios. That is a fantastic comment. Whether or not it's true, we don't know, but you've been on the level since I've known you, man. That would be incredibly appreciated. That would shake up the entire thing that we're doing right now. We'd be able to help some people right away. Is that accurate?
Oh yeah. 500. I mean, that puts Jonathan over the top, and we're more than a third away in getting Brad again there. Then
there you go.
So, yeah, I mean, if you guys want a rule of thumb, about 500 per person is about what it seems to be doing. So, yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you, AbLab Studios, even for the excitement. Let's say you forget to do it and later on you change your mind. Even this moment is appreciated. It's exciting.
Just the idea.
Just the idea. Right.
It's the thought that counts, AbLab.
All right. Well, thank you, AbLab Studios. It greatly appreciated, my friend. Dom C checking in. If you guys didn't see Dom C's article, he wrote 2 articles this week on Dwayne Brown, and one in particular very aggressively took just 2 random quarters and evaluated play by play what Dwayne Brown looks like on the field. Some good, some not so good. Gives you a really good breakdown of what's going on. That is on GreenBeanjetsfan.com, and I have links to it. It might be in this very video. If not, it's in the last video I made earlier today. But you guys might want to check that out. Dom C is pretty good, man. I got to give him I got a little kudos over here. So he says, question is Reed and Iowa or Iowa State fan? So, all right, is Reed an Iowa or Iowa State fan? Where's your allegiances?
I'm an Iowa State fan. I actually went to college at Iowa State, and I still live in Ames, in the Ames area. So I am still very much a Cyclone fan because, I mean, I've always kind of likened it to like Giants and Jets as like Hawkeyes and Cyclones. They're the bigger brother that are always dicks. So, yeah, screw those guys.
So you're a perpetual underdog.
Yeah, or the perpetual underdog, exactly.
Frankie, he's got underdog-itis. You know what I mean? That's me.
Can't help.
It's like Knicks or Nets. Who sucks worse? Nets. That's me. That's my team. Islanders, Rangers, Devils. At the time when I was like, the Islanders are kind of, that's my team.
Right.
I want to root for them. I almost took the Mets too, because in over here, Reed, we have the whole Mets, Jets, Nets thing. There are fans that's the reason. That's it. That's why they love all these teams, because they rhyme.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, it's as good a reason as any.
It really is. It really is. So what else we got? Reed, let me get your thoughts on. Let me ask you this: do you think that we're done with the offensive line? Bringing Dwayne Brown in, he's more than likely going to start at left tackle. More than likely. I think it would be borderline foolish to try to make him learn a position he's really never played when Fant has already played for an entire year over there and everything. But are we done? Do you think that there's any more that Joe Douglas is going to do? Are we really that confident in Connor McDermott, Chuma Edoga, and the rest of the boys?
I mean, it'll be really interesting to see what actually happens. If Saleh was just blowing smoke when he said that we were like Adoga's looking really good and Max Mitchell is ahead of the curve or whatever he said about him. I think I would still like a dedicated right tackle. Flipping Fant back and forth from side to side, I would think it would be kind of unsettling and like still a little confusing because, I mean, he's been through mini camp and he's been through like the first few weeks of training camp at left tackle, and now he's switching positions. And so, and he also was on the PUP list going in. So I think, I don't know, I would feel better if we brought in like even a Brandon Shell or somebody cheap, a cheap right tackle. But that's me personally.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Frankie, what do you think about that? I mean, I was actually surprised. I know Dwayne Brown was here and he passed the physical. There's a lot of momentum with Dwayne Brown, but I actually thought that they might consider a pure right tackle, maybe a Brandon Shell, maybe a Darrell Williams. What do you think about that? Are they done?
Well, I would like to see a guy like Jason Peters. I mean, now that we have Dwayne Brown here, I want Jason Peters here for one reason only, what he's got up here. Let him be the guy who accelerates Max Mitchell even more than he's already being accelerated. And he can still play. He's older. He said he wants to be a mentor, but he played well last year if he needs to go in there. But for the most part, I want a guy and he's already said he wants to be a mentor. That's something he's into. And in addition to that, maybe after the season's over with, maybe he wants to retire. Maybe he wants to get into coaching. Maybe he can come into our coaching pipeline. Let him get into John Benton's staff. Why not, if he does a good job? So I see it as kind of a double win. Let him accelerate Max Mitchell's development as fast as possible. He can also be a backup in case we need him. And then you put him into the coaching pipeline. get them into that. And we need as many, good people in the pipeline as possible. We got Pat Bastian. We got Coach Scruggs. We got all these young coaches. Why not one more?
I like it.
Yeah,
I think Jason Peters, though, as much as I would agree with you, I think he officially retired last year, didn't he? Didn't he say that he retired or no? No? Okay, I thought he did. But yeah, that'd be nice. He's 40. Think about this, guys. DeBrickashaw Ferguson, like we just brought on a 37-year-old guy, and we're talking about Jason Peters, who's 40. DeBrickashaw Ferguson is only 38. So maybe we could.
He had an amazing career. DeBrickashaw Ferguson had the most amazing career. He never missed a snap. He didn't miss anything. He missed nothing. And then he just said goodbye.
Right.
Yeah. Do you remember why? Do you remember why he said goodbye?
I got fed up. I don't know.
McCagnon told him he wanted him to take a pay cut.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like what is that? Like the guy, like like you said.
Great loyalty, McCagnon.
Yeah. Really good
I never missed a snap.
Yeah, he overpays Trumaine Johnson and others. He just gives them wackadoodle money, and then takes the one guy on your team, very important position, rock solid.
Yeah,
never misses a snap, Iron Man style. And you go, hey, by the way, we want you to take a pay cut. He said, how about this? Fuck yourself. I'm going to leave. That's what he said.
What a great general manager. That's what we call poor general managering.
That's what we call poor general managering. I love it. I love that. So Thomas Cahill checking in with the super chat. He says, we are in the hunt from the opening kickoff game one.
Everybody's in the hunt, I think, at that point.
Right. Well, there are semantics you could bring.
Doesn't make it untrue.
Doesn't
right.
make
So,
it untrue.
100% true nonetheless.
Right. Reed, let me ask you, look, you're excited. You're flying in. It's your first home game. Do you expect to see a victory, or are you kind of on the other side? Like, I'm just there. I'm excited. I don't really care one way or the other. I mean, obviously you care, but do you expect to see a win, or do you think we're more than likely going to lose this one?
I think I'm more in the middle. Like, I really, really want us to win. I think we will win. But it's not like I'm expecting it. And if we lose and I walk away, I'm like going to be super disappointed. Like, I don't know. Like losing to the Dolphins every single time.
Right.
So I think, no, I think it'll be fine either way. But I do want to say AbLab was not lying. We got a $500 donation from him.
Yeah. Jets Chaos, Jeremy was just texting me on the side saying, dude, it's in. So let's everybody give AbLab Studios a round of applause. Like, sincerely, man, thank you. That changes the GoFundMe. It changes it. That is massive.
Good job, AbLab.
Yeah.
And Stud City gave a donation as well. So we're doing great.
Fantastic.
Awesome,
Thank
guys.
you too, Stud City. Let's give these guys a round of applause. If you can throw some clapping hands in the chat, that would be fantastic.
Right.
Let's make some virtual noise.
Let's bring everybody who wants to come to a game to the game.
That's
from all
right.
over the planet. Let's bring people from Nigeria and the United States of Cambodia.
That's right. You know what? There's a large concentration of Jets fans on the eastern side of Cambodia. That's what I heard.
All in here. They'll be the best fans too. They would never shut up. They will be so loud in the stadium. They'd be so appreciative.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
The roof off the dump.
Yeah. So guys, look, we have I think we have 6 or 7 guys on the list. There may be more because I haven't checked my Instagram in the last maybe 24, 36 hours or so. I've done things, but I haven't checked my messages on there. So there might be more. But if we all donated a little bit, we could literally get like an entire mess of guys who've never been, and not let's say guys, women too, but Jets fans who've never been there. How cool is that, man? And we're going to be doing the Coney Island Cyclone thing on Saturday the 10th at 11 a.m. So we're going to do the world's tallest and fastest Jets chant part 2 from the Coney Island Cyclone, the world's most famous and revered roller coaster. And you can be a part of that. So these guys, when they come in, a lot of them are flying in. They're going to be there for that Saturday. It's super, super cool. And it's just amazing. I feel so grateful to be a part of it. It's amazing. So I'm just so excited. I can't believe what AbLab and Stud City, all you guys that are donating, thank you so much. I see Tigo's in the house. What's up, Tigo? I see you in there, buddy. And I want to remind you, I forgot to say it in the beginning, as always, Jets Chaos, Jeremy himself is in the house. He's producing the show for us tonight. You like that, Jeremy? You like the term producer? Is that? Yeah, right. It's not bad. I like it. And we have the president of the Virginia Jets fan club himself, New York Sports Wicker Media's own Watu is also here. We'll bring him on in just a few minutes so we can find out how he feels about Dwayne Brown. But I saw something from Harry here. Where is it? There it is. So Thomas Cahill, before I end that, I just want you to know I'm with you, buddy. And I would love nothing more than to see that opening kickoff return for a touchdown. How's that sound? Yeah! There you go. Let's see Berrios just start the season, kick it to me. They're kind of lazy. They don't think anything of the New York Jets' sorry-ass team, and we just go, boom, 7 points right in your gullet. I would love that. Harry checking in. He says, would giving you guys my extra ticket help? Well, Harry, I mean, the short answer is yes, but I think that we have the ability to pay for the ticket, so I know your situation is pretty particular. So let's talk about it afterwards. Reed and I were actually talking about your situation the other day. We were actually talking about it. So let's see what we come up with. I don't want to deny a donation, of course. You know what I mean? If somebody wants to give, the biggest part about giving, I learned, Frankie, is learning to accept gifts. You know what I mean? Learning to gracefully accept a gift. I turned out, I didn't know this, but I had a huge problem with that. I wasn't able to accept. No. That's what I would do to people. No. You don't need, no, please. It's like, what the fuck? I want to give you something, and that's part of it. It's, it's just as important to receive as it is to give. So thank you, Harry. Even the sentiment is appreciated, but we'll talk about it a little bit later. Now, look, we have a big preseason game coming up this week. Now, Reed, I want to know from you, what do you expect? So Zach Wilson, let's assume he's going to be out there 2 series. What do you expect to see? You expect to see kind of a reboot, so to speak, of what we saw in the green and white scrimmage? Do you think that they're going to try new stuff, or who you think shows up, and who do you think will flash for us?
I think I mean, it's going to be pretty basic offense, pretty basic defense because it's preseason, So I don't really think LaFleur is going to dig into his bag very far, but I think Breece Hall is going to flash a little bit. I have this feeling he's going to either break off a big run or have a nice screen pass for a big gain or some sort like that. I don't know. I daydream about Zach, the first possession being only 2 plays, and we scored a touchdown, so he has to be in for 3 series because I want to watch the starters play.
Right. Totally. Makes sense.
But still, at the same time, it is really exciting. I would really like to see how these younger guys and these guys that are lower on the roster fight. I'm really interested to see how the D-line shakes out.
Yeah.
Particularly Michael Clemons. I mean, wasn't he lining up in 3-tech a bunch during the green and white scrimmage?
That's right.
So
I mean, I think so. I think I remember seeing that.
So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
Hey, everybody's congratulating you on your producer gig, Jeremy. That's really nice. I'm glad I thought of it. I'm glad I thought of a title. It's nice. Jeremy's an incredible help. He really is, man. He helps me out a great deal. Wat2K, not so much, but I'm just kidding. Wat2K, I'm just kidding. Those guys are the absolute best. I'll bring you both on in about 5 minutes or so. I'll bring you guys on, and we'll have a whole shindig-a-rooney. So there was a question before, Reed, that said, being in Iowa, why is your name Reed when it should be Stalk? What is there a story there?
Well, I was originally called Stalk until I was about 16 years old. And then when my parents saw that I wasn't getting any dates because the women thought I was literally going to stalk them, they allowed me to change it to something else. But it still had to be plant-based, so I picked Reed.
That is a fantastic answer, guys. We didn't think about that wrinkle. We didn't think about that. So that's a fine answer, Reed. And I fully support your name change to Reed. A Mitch checking in. He says, keep up the great work, Green Bean. Please play all backups tomorrow. Go Jets. So Mitch is kind of leaning toward, hey, a little bit, maybe you're not putting the starters out there, at least for all that long. Let's see what the young guys have, and let's keep our team healthy. Now, we only have 3 preseason games anymore, so it is a little bit less. Remember, game 3 of the preseason was kind of the beefiest, right? It had the most meat on the bone. First preseason game, they'd maybe play a series or so, and then they'd build up to game 3, and then game 4, it was pretty much a rest, and they would try to evaluate as many guys as they can for the full 4 quarters. With it only being 3 games, Frankie, how do you think the preseason will actually break down? Like, I know how you see it, but how do you think the Jets are going to handle this after Saleh kind of said that he's a little bit nervous with all the injuries and stuff? He's trying to get through healthy. What do you think each game will look like as far as our starters?
Probably like a ramp up, like, one or 2 series or a quarter, depending how it plays out. And then the next game goes up to 2 quarters or a few more series. And then the third game probably ramps down again to a quarter or so. If I had to guess, I don't know. It really just depends. I mean, the Rams last year didn't play any starters at all, in the preseason. And they went to a place called the Super Bowl and won it. So, I mean, other teams might look at that and go, well, it was good enough for them. Well, what are we doing over here? So, I don't know. I think they're going to try to thread the needle, though. They'll probably ramp it up a little in the second game, and then third game, they'll ramp it down again, if I had to guess. Seems like that's the way they want to go.
Yeah. Another thing the Rams did is they've completely foregone having draft picks. They don't need them.
Yeah. Who needs draft picks?
Right.
Who needs draft picks when you have Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and Matt Stafford? I mean,
Right. Well, look, there's logic there. We already know that guy can play. How about you take my first round pick, give me him, and you take the damn crapshoot. I mean, there's logic.
Of course, the Seahawks tried the same thing with us, you may remember. They were trying to do that with the Jamal Adams trade. Didn't work out too good.
No.
So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You take a little gamble with them.
Yeah, must be the coaching discrepancy between Pete Carroll and Sean McVay, though.
Maybe so.
Yeah,
that's what they were trying to do.
Right. You got to grab the right guys. That's key. It really is funny. The Jamal Adams thing, he did such a good job of promoting, you know what I mean? Of making this image. Like anytime you watch a game, even when I would watch Jets games, when Jamal was on our team, it was like they talked about him as the greatest thing since sliced bread, and he wouldn't be doing all that much. I mean, look, Jamal's a good player. I'm not going to say that that's not the case, but he wasn't really all that impactful for us. It just, he made tackles and stuff, but he didn't make too many big plays. But the way the announcers talked about him, probably because he was the only guy worth a damn on our entire team, so they kind of took the opportunity to talk about somebody that's good. But he made the all pro 2 times, and then he goes to Seattle. They gave 2 first-round picks for him, and clearly, I mean, you look at the impact he's made, and I mean, dude, they blew up the whole team. That he was going to be the final piece. He was supposed to be the final piece of a Super Bowl team,
right?
And it went the exact opposite way. So what do you
never drafted any linemen? Linemen. They just
you don't need no linemen. You have Russell Wilson. He can run around all day. Why do you need an old lineman for? He could just run over here, run over there, and then throw a bomb.
Right, and then he gets upset and wants to leave because he's nobody's protected.
Good strategy, Pete Carroll.
Yeah, right. Well, look, Russell Wilson, he's so good at moving around. Why waste our capital on protecting him? Why? Why not? So Jets Forever saying Malik Willis with an interception. That's interesting. What is it? Give us some scores, guys. Anybody have the scores? Reed, Frankie, anybody watching this stuff?
No.
The Giants were kind of coming back. This is it.
Yeah. J.E.'s asking, no, I'm not watching it. I tried last week. There was the Hall of Fame game was on. The TV's across the room. And look, I mean, I can have it on just for atmosphere, but the truth is, if I'm being honest, I can't see. There's no way.
I can barely keep up with the chat. So there's no way I'm watching the game. Also.
I mean, if you want up to the minute Bailey Zappi information, you could check it out. The Giants are beating the Patriots 17-14. Bailey Zappi's in for the Patriots.
There you go. Now, let's talk about the Patriots for a brief moment. They're doing some interesting stuff. Now, we've talked about their little bit odd draft choices, right? And that's it's not actually that odd for Belichick, but it was even a little bit further than he would go with drafting what was really looked at as maybe a third round at best offensive lineman in the first round and stuff like that. But the weirder thing that they're doing is they've brought back Matt Patricia, defensive coordinator, and Joe Judge, special teams guy. And they brought them back to kind of double team the offense. So they're going to be calling the plays along with Bill Belichick. So, Frankie, I'll throw it to you first, and I'd like to hear Reed's thoughts. What do you think about, can they really pull this together and still be the Patriots? Like, do we have to watch them do this crazy experiment and still be good? Are they going to pull it off?
It's either one of two things. Either Bill Belichick is trying to throw the season in order to get Will Anderson on his team, which is one thing I've proposed, maybe. Or number two, Bill Belichick's going, I can totally screw this up. I can screw up free agency, not sign anybody of note. I'll screw up the draft. I'll take weird people in strange places, and I'll still win because I'm Bill Belichick, the genius of all geniuses. So that's what I think he's, or maybe the players they have coming back that we forgot about, like Cameron McGrone and other people, maybe they're going to be good. But nobody really has liked their offseason at all, including Patriot fans. You had Greg Bedard on Twitter the other day saying the offense looks the worst he's ever seen it. It's ridiculous and embarrassing. So, I mean, you got Joe Judge over there working with the quarterbacks. You got Matt Patricia calling the plays tonight. So I guess he's the play caller, and he's a defensive guy. He has been his whole career. So nobody really knows what's going on here. I think they're one of the more fascinating teams. If they are good, though, then you got to go, well, maybe this Belichick guy knows what he's doing, I guess. But, I mean,
yeah, it's
weird.
Freaky. It really is. I mean, weird is the best word. So what do you think? I mean, Reed, Dark Soldier's checking in. He's saying Bill Belichick hasn't drafted a Pro Bowler in 8 years. So he doesn't have Tom Brady to kind of hide that. He doesn't have that anymore.
I mean,
but
wasn't Mac Jones a Pro Bowler, Dark Soldier?
Was he?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, no, he was like the first alternate.
I guess he's probably not talking about alternates.
Okay, and that's fair enough. That's a fair point. I mean, there's lots of guys that make it in because the other guy didn't want to play in there and all kinds of stuff like that. And it counts. I guess it counts, but they didn't do that for friggin' Mo Lewis. Why not?
It always comes back to Mo Lewis, doesn't it? When it's green bean time, it's Mo Lewis time. That's just the way the world works.
That's right, man. Mo, I love you, buddy. I truly do. I'd give you
tell his name's in the Ring of Honor. Why not? Let's do it.
And they skipped him. They skipped. Now, I'm not saying that the guys that got in don't deserve it. I love all of them. They absolutely deserve it. But, dude, he was leapfrogged. I don't understand, Reed. Anywho, what do you think? Doubling up with, dovetailing with Dark Soldier's comment and what we were talking about, Matt Patricia is essentially the offensive coordinator with Joe Judge helping him out. You think the Patriots are going to pull this off and still sweep us? Like, can this really happen?
I don't think so. It just doesn't make any logical sense. It just doesn't. It's kind of like, was it Parcells that said if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks? If you have three offensive coordinators, how many do you really have? It doesn't make any sense. Like you said, Patricia was a defensive coordinator. Yeah, he was head coach at Detroit, which was disastrous. And then he came back to be defensive coordinator again. And Joe Judge, he's special teams coordinator? And, I mean, it's not to say that they can't physically do the job. It's whether they can do the job with any sort of success,
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure I could be a surgeon, but it's going to be a hell of a mess when I'm done.
Right.
Yeah, I could do it, I'm sure. But,
right.
Just to see how successful none of it makes any sense. I think Tom Brady covered up a lot for a very long time.
Now, considering that, and I happen to agree with you, man. I think it's, I mean, and it's going to be dependent upon our ineptitude. You know what I mean? Like it's, no 45-3. Like we can't have that shit, man. We not
Right.
this year. It can't be. So since New York Sports Wicker Media had just a slam dunk point you right in the forehead comment here. Screw Brady. I love it. Let's go ahead and bring Wa2K on.
Yeah, but let's also talk about Tom Brady. What is
We're
Tom
gonna
Brady?
we're gonna do that. We're gonna do just that. I
Good.
see some comments. That's it's very interesting, Frankie. I'm actually sincerely curious about your thoughts. So let's say hello to our good friend Wa2K. And before I just run off, here he is. Hey, everybody! Look at him. He's wearing yellow like Frankie. Did I miss the email?
It's the
I
new
would've worn
thing.
yellow. I would have worn yellow. Said I'm wearing.
You're on mute, you Y2K.
Oh, you're on mute, buddy.
Yellow's the new black,
Yep.
baby.
Yeah, while Wa2K is
mute.
getting online, I'll just tell you, this is the charity up there in New Jersey
I'm good.
that we did the Jersey Shore Coaster Tour to support, raised a couple $1,000s for them. They are an amazing charity up there. If you like to help animals, great place to do it. But I would have worn yellow. What's up, Wa2K? How you doing?
Doing good. We're not going to be doing trivia tonight. Instead, we're going to have the match games. So you could turn all our tiles over, and Frankie and I were going to be a match.
Yeah, there you go. I just need Jeremy to teach me how to turn the tiles over, and we'll be fine.
Well, good to see you, man. How you been?
Good.
I'm
Good to see you
yeah.
too.
Look at this. This is a nice
First
collection.
time I've ever talked to Wa2K face to face. Also,
Isn't
That's
it
right.
weird?
Yeah. Screen to screen, computer to computer. Absolutely. Yeah.
right?
It's awesome.
We
You,
live
you
in a
did sound
weird
better
world.
when you were muted. I will say that. So
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's mean, Reed.
I know.
Reed's mean guy. So
Nah,
before
just
we
because
take
you
off,
give me
I
a
wanna
bottle of orange corn wine, it doesn't give you carte blanche to say whatever you want.
Right. Before we take
Fair.
off, though, I'm gonna bring Jeremy on as well. But Wa2K, as soon as I do that, I want to get your thoughts on whatever the hell we were talking about before. I don't even remember what it was. What is it, Frankie? What do I want to hear Wa2K talk about? You remember? The Joe Judge,
Brady.
Bill Belichick, all that stuff. Matt Patricia. So let's say hello to Jets Chaos himself, Jeremy. Let me make this bigger. It's too small. Let me see. Boop. There we go.
Yay.
So hello, Jeremy. How you doing, good buddy? He's on mute too.
See, now, see, it's a thing.
It's a thing. I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on.
he sounds better than he normally
I'm good.
There we go.
Iowa was, I'm sorry I interrupted your wise guy crack, Iowan. Go ahead.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, he's good.
It's all about timing. Moments passed.
Right. Well said, whoever said it. I don't even know. So, Wa2K, what are your thoughts about the Bella? Like, dude, can they really slap this together with Scotch tape like they're doing and actually beat us? Or like, can we beat this team, or are they going to be the talk of the town and win 11 games with this crazy plan they have?
Well, in the past, I'm pretty amazed just how disrespected Belichick gets. I mean, this is a coach who won 11 games with Matt Castle at quarterback.
Yeah.
So when I hear the whole Brady made Belichick, it just drives me crazy. I think it's absurd to
Below
be quite
500
frank about
without
it.
Brady.
Brady,
He's below
is that
500
your
without-
backup account? Is the whole below 500 all that BS? Okay, I see how this goes. No, I have no objectivity, and I make this. All right. Okay, you get off the floor. It's fine.
What? You okay? What
I'm
happened?
good. No, I'm good. If you want to, I'm good.
I don't understand. Okay.
What just happened?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it
guys.
was weird. All right, so I'll move on. Let Wa2K calm down a little bit. Jeremy,
That's
what do
fine.
you think? You think it's going to be? You think this is going to fucking work?
I'm
You
sorry?
think it's going to work? Like this whole Matt Patricia thing, and Joe Judge for that matter. From what I'm seeing in the chat, that they're letting Joe Judge call the plays currently at this phase of the game. Maybe they're seeing who calls a better game. I don't know. But do you think it's going to work? Are they going to come in and beat us twice this year? Is that really possible?
I don't think so. I learned one thing. I'm never going to completely rule out Belichick or Brady. Like either one of them, whether together, whether they're separate. I'm never going to get too cocky, but I can't help but feel that this is the most vulnerable that the Patriots have been. Belichick or no Belichick. I think he lost his right hand man. It's kind of like I don't know. It's just I just feel like Parcells was never as good without Belichick as his right hand man. So I kind of feel like he lost his right hand man, and losing Brady and his offensive coordinator, his right hand man, like that combined, I think we finally might have seen the end of that dynasty. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Patriots finished under 500 this year, but at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked if they won 10, 11 games. And that's
right. That's what's so damn freaky about it is like, if the Jets ever did anything like this, now granted, we haven't earned it, but so I get it. But if we ever tried an experiment like this, we would be laughed out of the league. We would be laughed out of the league. And what the hell are you guys doing over there? Now, again, it's Belichick and it's the Patriots. And for 22 years or whatever it is, they have literally dominated the NFL. So they earned that. But dude, I can't see it, man. It's like, I guess I wouldn't be devastatedly surprised. You know what I mean? I mean, devastated I probably would be, but I wouldn't be totally surprised. But I have to think I'm leaning towards kind of what Frankie was saying before. I almost get the sneaking suspicion that Belichick's just trying to do a bunch of crazy stuff so he can, be bad enough to get the quarterback. I mean, unless he really loves Mac Jones. I don't know. I'm completely befuddled by this one. Now, is this the year that we actually beat them? When's the last time we beat them? Anybody know?
The walk-off touchdown with Decker, Bulls' first season. Fitzpatrick to Decker. That was it.
That's a long time ago.
That's 7 years, Y2K. Now, did we beat – how long – like before that, were we – like was that like the one game we beat them in 4 years or something like that too? Or what were we a little bit better? I really don't remember.
So before that, it was kind of getting to be the end of the Rex era. It's like, as best I remember, we were having our moments, but we weren't having a whole lot. Ever since the playoff victory, I would think maybe we've beaten them twice, 3 times is probably being generous. I mean, we can look it up, but since then, I don't think we've won more than three games against New England in 12 years. I think that's pretty reasonable.
Oh, my God. All right,
Yeah.
It's got to stop.
I'll check this out.
This is it. It's got to stop. This is it. I'll tell you what, though, when we showed up at opening day last year, we felt good. We really did. I made that stupid boast that one Jets Drive used. I guarantee it, so I really felt. Now, I didn't, of course, we could lose, but I never thought we were about to watch what we watched. So this year has to be it. Now, let's lead that into the Brady thing. So Brady, if anybody is unaware of what happened, Tom Brady is leaving the team for approximately a week and a half, I think is what they said. Todd Bowles said it was planned. It's expected. It's nothing going on. But a lot of people think that maybe something is going on. So, Frankie, what do you think it is? There's some maybe just because it's the Dolphins, a little bit of shit came out recently. What do you think it is?
All I know is all the major scandals over the past 2 decades have involved shady Tom Brady. So I don't really know what's going on, but it seems like something's going on with shady Tom Brady. Maybe. Just maybe they were coming for the old steroid test, the old drug test, and he wanted to say, hey, I don't need any of that. I'm going to leave the team for a while, and then you guys can get out of here, and then I'll come back. I don't know. That's just speculation, but I have no idea. But all I know is if something's going on, shady Tom Brady will be right in the middle of it.
Brady was going to get dinged for Botox. So,
yeah, he is looking pretty good. I gotta say,
working on his line of avocado ice cream, probably.
Right. But it is interesting though that it's the Miami Dolphins, right? And that he's going to be this week. He would be bombarded with questions about all the stuff that came out about the owner and everything. I think it's probably leaning toward that. They just PR said it's better if you're not here. Just we don't need you. It's not a big deal. He's been lighting it up in training camp, from what I read. Isn't it amazing too? Like they had 2 offensive linemen go down, and the guys that came in look fantastic. Like they're not going to miss a beat. So they don't technically need them. But Jeremy, what do you think? You think there's something to this? You think it's the Miami thing? What do you think is going on, or it's just nothing?
I think he might just. I mean, what Frankie says is interesting. I mean, the truth is as much as I don't want to believe those things, You know, not that I don't want to, but they seem like it's grasping. At the same time, it's true. Every time something controversial happens, Miami's being punished for what? Brady was in the middle of that. He was part of that. Like, everything this guy touches is corrupt. I mean, he's been involved in so much sleazy stuff. I can't put it past them. But at the same time, it might just be I got the sense when I first read about that, he was kind of pulling the kind of what choice do you have kind of thing. I just don't want to be here. It's a waste of my time. I got better things to do. I'm tired of camp. Like, literally just privilege. And I wouldn't be happy with it. Like, I would never want that to be part of the Jets culture. I would, no matter how, I don't care who the quarterback is, to like feel I don't have to be here. So why should I? I would want them there to help with the younger guys, you know, just for the morale.
But it's also out of character, right? So that's what makes me think something's going on, because this is so out of character. I mean, Tom Brady's a guy who loves practice. He stays after practice, and he practices more than anybody's ever practiced in the history of practice. And all of a sudden, he's like, I don't need practice. See you later. Like, what?
Weird.
What?
Yeah, Y2K, what do you think? You have another take on this? Like, you think it's the Miami thing? I mean, because it's a good point. Why were they punished so much and Tom Brady wasn't? Is it because he was retired? But if you retire and you still have a contract, you can't like.
Well, they contacted him before he was retired, while he was still on the Patriots.
Oh, what do you think, Y2K?
I wonder if there's a little bit of a similarity when Michael Jordan had his retirement after 1993 because of all the gambling allegations. I'm still pretty sure that David Stern and David Falk, his agent, said, look, just go away. This whole thing will blow over. You come back in 2 years and the NBA will welcome you back with open arms. Right. I think in this case, it was like 2 months as opposed to 2 years, because we all know that we don't know evidence was destroyed from Spygate, because the NFL's got to protect their legacy. They don't want to have a 20-year reign be tainted by cheating allegations. So the evidence was destroyed. You know, we'll never know the truth, but deep down, I think we all have a good feel for what really happened. And that's why I can't look at the Patriots on that level as, say, the 49ers of the 80s and even the Steelers of the 70s. I have all the respect in the world for their resume, but when people automatically use the GOAT word, it's offensive to me. It's offensive to my sensibilities, and I make no shame about it. I have no apologies about it.
Right. I know there should. I mean, look, what would an asterisk really do? But I think there should be one. You know what I mean? I really do. Like, this team has been caught cheating numerous times. The team was Tom Brady's #1 client for his TB12 stuff, and he just happened to take 30% less than every other quarterback in the league. Like, why? There's nothing. I mean, nope. He's just the GOAT. He's the GOAT. And I hate it. I really do. And I know it gets like, wah, wah, wah. I get it. But it's still bothersome. And especially when something like this comes out, like Frankie just said, they punish the shit out of the Dolphins and Tom Brady gets nothing. Unless maybe they found out that he just said, what? And hung up the phone. How dare you? How dare you, sir?
The only one who came out smelling like a rose in that whole thing is Coach Flo, the Brooklyn boy from Poly Prep. Coach Flores did the right thing every step of the way. They said, come to a meeting on the boat. He said, I'm not going on your boat. Get the hell out of here. By the way, that's also good life advice. Anybody invites you to a meeting on a boat, the answer should be no.
Right.
It's the Giants on Lake Minnetonka for the Vikings game.
Right.
Ever since then, in the toilet.
We need
it's
to
only because of
national waters. No.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
It's only because of Coach Flo that the Dolphins again didn't get found guilty for purposely tanking. Also, probably.
Yeah, right. He did every step of the way. Coach Flo was smelling like a rose in this thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And when it was first said, there was some backlash. You know what I mean? That he's like, he's sour grapes, or he's scorned, a man scorned. All that kind of stuff came out, and it's looking pretty much the other side, the other way. So I want to just make a point. Jeff Otis Brown's comment is beautiful. I just want to say that. It must be deflating news to his fans. That's really well done. I love well done stuff.
Interception Ravens. Man, Ravens are looking good in the second half. Just on a side note, I got the game locally here, so
Yeah,
I've been
what
watching
was,
them pretty close.
Did Linderbaum play tonight?
Probably.
You know, I don't think so. I didn't turn it until about late in the first quarters when I got home and was able to turn it on. Worked late tonight, so. But I was this Shamar Bridges, number 85, 6'4", has got some dreadlocks. He might have a little bit of a role on opening day. He's made some pretty big catches tonight. That's the guy
Really?
I'm watching for.
What was his name? Who was it?
Shamar Bridges. He's a rookie from, I think, like Fort Valley State, some obscure school that nobody's ever heard of. But Shamar Bridges, 6'4" with dreadlocks. So, and the dreadlocks flying out from under the helmet. So he's pretty hard to miss.
Yeah, that's just like the Ravens. And this is what happens when you develop a true foundation and a systemic vibe, you know, a culture around your team. That's the kind of stuff that happens more often than not. You know, they say luck favors the well-prepared, right? So getting our team to that level where the Ravens, like, it doesn't matter, undrafted free agent, 6th round pick, the next guy coming in more times than not succeeds because of everything else, the infrastructure that's there. And like we're talking about, this guy comes out of nowhere and it's like, oh yeah, that guy's great. That guy's great now. Jets Forever saying Linderbaum has a foot injury. I actually kind of remember that now. Now that
he may not be ready. He may not be ready for week 1. Dr. Chow is pretty pessimistic about it.
So who's their center?
Bozeman's gone. Yeah,
Bozeman's gone.
Cleveland's a guard. Cleveland's their backup guard. Yeah, Falele is their right tackle. He's been playing second string right tackle tonight.
Interesting. Dude, how great would it be, man? How great would it be if we come out week 1 and our defensive line is able to do very well, like against their offensive line? Like, that's where we put a lot of our focus. You know, a lot of our efforts have been on the defensive line. It's Salah's trademark. Him and Ulbrich talking about people rushing with their hair on fire and all kinds of stuff. If we're able to actually disrupt what they're trying to do just because of our defensive line, guys like Jermaine Johnson, Carl Lawson, even Michael Clemons coming in there and making an impact, that would be the best case scenario for me. Yeah, you think when you look at their offensive line, it's kind of piecemeal in many respects. How realistic do you think that is, Jeremy? Like, what do you think? You think our D line is going to be able to show up on opening day?
Well, look, that's the plan. Right. I mean, that's what we put all the eggs in the basket. We have more people competing at that position than any other, part of our team. The plan is for that to happen, and it has to happen for us to win because we put so much into it. We all saw when we couldn't get pressure last year on the opposing quarterback what our defense looks like. It's predicated on it. So if we're going to enjoy that game and be in that hangar and win, it's going to be because the defensive line got to the quarterback. And I think that's going to be the key number one of all the things you could list. The number one way we're going to beat the Ravens is our defensive line beats their offensive line, and we just give Lamar a fit.
Oh, that would make me so happy. Anybody think that it's not going to happen? That it's just not realistic to think our defensive line can have a showing on opening day? Anybody on that side of it?
No,
hell no.
I mean, why would you think that at this point? If everybody's healthy, they're all O-line, even if healthy. Ronnie Staley may not play, and even if he does play, he first game back, and then they have old Morgan Moses at right tackle, who we all know very well, and he's fine, but he's not elite or anything, And then they have the rookie, even if he plays, and Linderbaum may not even play, but if he does, he's a rookie. How many line calls is he going to get wrong in the game? And then their two guards are Zeitler and someone else. They're not
Cleveland.
That's not a great line.
Ben Cleveland. Ben Powers. Yeah, Cleveland's the backup guard. And I'll say this again until Kingdom Come. Morgan Moses was a good leader, a good run blocker. He was a bottom level pass blocker last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Between Lawson, JJ, Martin, they should have a field day with Morgan Moses on September 11th.
I mean, look what Jacob Martin did to Morgan Moses. Jacob Martin murdered Morgan Moses last year, murdered him. And we have Jake Martin now.
Yeah. See, that's when you get the extra layer. That's an extra. It's like a 7-layer dip, and they slip in an 8th because he was ours last year. That's the 8th layer, man, is beating the guy you let go with the guy that you brought on. I love it.
It's pronounced
better for
Moida
him.
on the East Coast, right?
What did you
Moida?
say?
Moida,
Is it pronounced? No.
He was
Okay.
murdered.
Moida.
Even better to add on to what Frankie said, Jacob Martin didn't just beat him last year, and now he's a Jet. But this year, he's not the best defensive edge rusher on the team he's playing on. So you got to worry about Jacob Martin and how he can beat Morgan, but you also got to worry about Carl Lawson. So it's pretty exciting.
And Jermaine Johnson and Vinnie Curry and Solly Thomas and
Bryce Huff.
JFM and Bryce.
Even Jabari Zuniga. Let's go Zuniga.
Yeah!
Michael Clemons.
Oh, yeah.
Just have Michael Clemens stare at Morgan.
Once
Lawson.
you've had enough, once you've been beaten down and you've had enough and you want to call uncle, with that, then we bring in Michael Clemens. Good luck.
That's right. He goes, "Hey, how you doing?" Just lines up on and goes, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?"
He's got the Barry White. If
Hope
he's
you're
sick,
ready
I
for
bet he
this.
sound like Barry White. I'm positive.
Hope you're ready for this, buddy. And he gets into his stance.
Yeah,
I
I'm
shake my own hand. Thank you
I
very
hope
much.
you packed a lunch because I'm gonna eat. Something like that. I love it. So, okay, we are actually a few minutes over. Let's go ahead and get into the trivia. I don't think we're going to be able to play the match game tonight. Watch 2K. It was a good idea, but let's see what we have for trivia. Remember the rules, guys. We do not check Google. We try to use our noggins to see if we can get the correct answer, and let's see if we can actually continue our streak. I think we had a streak going. I think we got it right the last 2 weeks, if I remember correctly. That's fun. So let's see if we can continue the streak and have a flip from what we did last season. We got trounced by Wat2K last season. So let's see how we do. No Google allowed. Honor system. So what do you got, Wat2K?
So this past weekend at practice, the Jets brought back an old friend. Number 15, Brandon Marshall, made an appearance at Jets camp. And Brandon Marshall left the Jets. Since Brandon Marshall left the Jets in 2016, 4 different New York Jets have worn number 15. Your job is to name those 4 players.
Ooh. Oh, my goodness.
It's recent.
Well, who's got 15 right now? Who's got 15? Anybody know? Some scrub?
Squad guy.
Oh, man.
No.
Tariq Black.
No.
Did Debo wear number 15?
That was not. That was. But since Marshall left, and no, it is not Lee Cravat. Just in case anybody was wondering.
Right. You know that's coming.
That's always the answer. Cager.
What do you think? Lawrence Cager? Is that one of them?
Ogachuk's got it.
Lawrence Cager is incorrect.
Oh.
What? It is?
No. Flacco's wearing 19. He's got the ugliest damn number on the team.
You think? 79
yeah,
is hard.
Very asymmetrical, right?
Yeah.
Right. I was going to say, so this year it's Eddie Pinheiro.
Correct.
Oh.
Eddie Pinheiro. Right. That's right.
Pinheiro.
Right. Yeah, the best kicker on our team, Diego.
There you go. Jets Forever says.
Cager had it.
Yeah. So he says Lawrence Cager had it at one point. Is that inaccurate?
But he didn't make the squad, so it didn't count. He was on.
I was going to say he did. If so, he didn't play a game. He may have
right.
he may have changed his number at some point, but he didn't actually play a game that I saw as number 15. So
submission 72 comes in with a correct answer. I think is Josh McCown.
Josh McCown is correct. That's
all right.
2.
So we have 2. You said there were 5, right? Is that what you said?
There were 4.
4. Tebow, but he was not.
Right.
No, he was before Brandon Marshall.
Right. Tebow was like 2011, 2012.
The fact that we had Tim Tebow on this team should really tell you so much.
It does.
He should have been our He should have been our chaplain. That was
but we had him as a quarterback. That's different.
Yeah, it speaks volumes. It speaks loud and clear to what was going. That was part of the degradation of a once fun. How about Bill Bellamy?
Bill Bellamy.
That would be incorrect if you're saying Bill Bellamy.
Yeah. Remember him?
I think, but there might be a different Bellamy.
Bellamy was the guy that he played for Adam Gase in Chicago, and they brought him over.
Josh Bellamy. Yes, I believe it was right. Yeah, Josh Bellamy, number 15. That's correct as well.
That is correct. So we need one more. Now Braden is saying Streveler. I don't even know who that is, Braden. That'd be
that's the newest quarterback we just signed like 10 seconds ago. He's like our 4th quarterback.
I got a trivia question for Wat2K.
You always do.
How many games has Chris Streveler played in his career, Y2K?
Is that a trick question? Are we talking Jets career? Because that would be 0.
NFL career.
There has to be a reason you're actually asking me this question. I'm just going to say 1 just for fun.
Incorrect. 7.
7?
I thought the number was 0. I looked him up today, and I was like, wait a minute. This guy played in 7 games? Who the hell is this?
Who do you even play for? I don't even know that.
The Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals.
All right, Talking Jets with Tigo checks in with a good swing. So let's see if it's right. Chris Hogan.
Chris Hogan is correct. That
There
is
it
the
is.
fourth one. It's going to be a tough one. So Tigo comes through for the group.
There it is. We did very,
He
very
nailed
well.
it.
You needed some chat. Yeah, you needed some chat. Yeah.
Tigo was as clutch as
always need
Pinheiro.
the chat.
Good job, Tigo.
We always need the chat. There's no
Always
doubt
need the
about it.
chat.
That's
The
right.
chat is key. The chat is key. Now, real quick before we go, who are we rooting for? And I'll go around. I'll start with you, Reed. Who do we want to be the kicker this year? Pinheiro or Greg the Leg?
I don't know. With how bad of a year Greg had last year, he makes me a little bit more nervous. Now, I don't have my heart set on Pinheiro. I just know Tigo hates him, and so that's why I keep throwing it back at him. But I guess I personally would just prefer Pinheiro. So,
What about you, Frankie?
Well, I don't really have a preference. If somebody wins the job, I don't really care. But the one thing if they come up the same, one thing Joe Douglas may do is go, well, which one can I sneak on the P squad? And Zerloin, you probably can't, but Pinheiro, you probably can get to the P squad. So if they're ranked the same, we may keep Zerloin to get Pinheiro onto the practice squad.
Interesting take. I don't know, man. I don't know if either one. I think Greg would probably last longer on the practice squad with his recent difficulties. But that's an interesting thought. Jeremy, what do you think?
I hope he has to earn it and win it. But Greg the Leg, because I want to be able to kick a 55-yarder. I don't want to be in a situation where we're not in the range of Pinheiro. I want to be in range because I think it could be the difference between 1 or 2 games.
Interesting. What about you, Y2K?
Since 2014, Greg Zuerlein has made 90% of his field goals only one time, and that was in 2017. I think at this point, I'm pretty much done with kickers who have these just otherworldly legs, but the kicks are just, they go left, they go right. I think I'm a little bit more worried about accuracy. I don't want to hear about launch angle, Tigo. I don't care about it. I want to see the ball go through the uprights. I don't care if it's inside the upright or if it splits it right down the middle to make an Arena League football, an Arena League field goal. At this point, my hope is Pinheiro because I trust his accuracy. At the end, I want the ball going through the uprights.
You know what? I'm going to agree. I think if all things are looking equal-ish in training camp and preseason, I got to lean towards the younger Eddie Pinheiro because of the accuracy. If you know that 50 and inside, he's pretty much going to make it. The losing the 55-ish, while I'd love it, I think that's a little bit less of a concern than just when we get into a range where you got to hit the damn kick. Hit the damn kick. That's what I want. So I'm really leaning towards Eddie Pinheiro. He's a young guy, man. He only lost his hoopla because of an injury. So we might have gotten a gem, potentially a long-term gem, with Eddie Pinheiro. So and look, so far in training camp, he's got a little bit of the lead, as Mark Riz is saying. He's been money. Jets Forever said he hit a 55 today or 55 recently, so that's good. Anyway, I think that's interesting. So, guys, that is going to be the end of the show. I want to thank our guests tonight. We had Gangrene UK. I still got their things scrolling down. Look at me. I don't maintain things very well. Let's see what I got here. I'll put up another one. Watch this. Here we go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday thick of it. But yeah, they're a Gangrene UK, just an awesome group of people, man. Jets fans from around the world, and they're really a good time, and I enjoy them very much. Their Facebook is the link to their Facebook is in the description of this video, and you can join up and hang out with those guys. And also we have Iowan Jets fan himself, Reed, a professional beanbagger and the leader of the Wayward Jets Fan Fund. He is the first recipient of the love, and now he's helping others to receive the love as well. Really, really cool thing. It's real, dude. It's your idea, and I thank you, man. I think it's super cool. And now you're you're all but managing it. I mean, almost entirely by yourself. So I appreciate that. And we're going to get some people to that damn stadium for the first time ever. And it just warms my heart. It excites me. But
we are.
Anything you want to say on your way out? You got anything you want to promote? Your business? Anything?
No, I'm good. I just want to thank you for really running with this. I don't know if we would be anywhere close to even getting me there, let alone at least one other person and probably at least a third going to this if it weren't for you. And especially thank you to everybody who has donated, and to those of you that haven't donated, why not? You jerks, go do it.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, I really do appreciate this, all of it, and it's the least I could do. I can Google plane flights. That's fine. That's not a problem.
Yeah. Well, it's very hard for me. I don't like it. So I'm glad you're doing it. Iowan Jets fan, everybody. Again, it's great to have you on and spend some time. And actually, right, you can actually talk to these guys, not just in the chat. It's like we've known each other for years, and here we go. So Watsuke, the president of the Virginia Jets fan club, also New York Sports Wicker Media. What do you got coming up, buddy?
We actually decided to do a fantasy football league in the Virginia Jets fans. We had a really big thing going. Like one of the guys had this whole pick'em thing that he had going for about 20 to 25 years, and he decided to stop doing it this year. So one of the guys in the group said, why don't we do a fantasy football league? So I put the post up around 4 o'clock today. Within an hour and a half, we had 16 people sign up. We filled that thing right up. Just amazing. Unbelievable. So we're doing a live draft for the first time. We're doing a fantasy football league for VJF. So I'm really excited to get that organized. We're going to do a live draft party at AJ Gators. So really looking forward to it. I don't think I've ever done a league with 16 teams for football. So this should be rather interesting.
Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool, man.
So, but putting up videos at NY Sports Wicker Media, having a great time, doing the shows with Jeremy on Wednesday. I may drop in with Buffalo tomorrow night at some point during the preseason game. And what the heck, I'm just going to go ahead and call it. Will Parks has an interception tomorrow. I'm just going to throw out one random prediction for the game. Why not?
There you go. I fully support this one. This is a good deep dive into the game. I love it. Will Parks pick tomorrow night. Watch UK said it first. Jeremy from Jets Chaos Channel. What do you got coming up?
Well, I'm doing something interesting on Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. We're doing a crossover episode. My brothers and I are bringing back our Cravat Attack hot sauce channel. It's a channel where we eat hot sauce and rate it for heat and taste. To help pump it up and to get it going again, my brother's going to come on my channel. We're going to do an episode live as a one-time special thing just to promote the channel and get people over there. And that's going to be tomorrow. If you want to see me in pain, we got a really crazy hot sauce lined up that we're all going to do. And on Sunday at 8 o'clock, I have a special guest. I'm not going to say who, but pretty cool guy from the Jet Lounge. And that's going to be possibly Dom if he wants to come in. That'll be on Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Fantastic. Let's go watch Jeremy torture himself for giggles. It's really a good time. A Buffalo Jets fan checking in to say, bring out that hot sauce, Jeremy. So that's good. Hello, Buffalo. It's good to see you. Now, Frankie has some stuff. He's got a little channel I heard about. So why don't you tell everybody what you got coming up, Frankie?
Yep, Frankie from Flatbush Channel. I'll be going live tomorrow during the game. So if you want to hang out with me during the preseason game, we'll be hanging out. I might even do some play-by-play of the game. And then Saturday, we got our coffee with Frankie. For some reason, I said it like that. I don't know why. But coffee with Frankie on Saturday at 11 a.m. So this Saturday, we'll discuss what happened during the game, probably.
There you go. That's it. Did you mention Tuesday Newsday? I hate when you don't mention it. It bothers me.
Tuesday Newsday. I should mention Tuesday Newsday has been suspended for the season. We're bringing it back in the offseason. There's too much news going on, GreenBean. I realized this is crazy. I can't have it was meant for the offseason when you don't have any news and you just gather it up and then say, week. Okay, here's the whole week of news.
Gotcha.
It's just too much news. So we're doing bite-sized little newsy segments. So no more Tuesday Newsday for the season, but we'll bring it back in the offseason.
Well, that's
Tuesday would literally be the entire day of Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
like I would be like, 24 hours going over every single thing. It's just too much. Here's all the lies Country Club Connor has told. It would just be too much.
Frankie for the play-by-play. Yeah, Frankie for the play-by-play. I don't know. I think I hear you doing like live golf. I could hear you doing the golf play-by-play. I think that would work. You got that very soothing voice going on.
Well, that would be okay, except I hate golf. So that's not
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, so there you go.
Country
You
Club
can catch
Connor
Frankie
on
at
the
Frankie
feed.
from Flatbush on YouTube, as he just mentioned. So very, very good stuff. It turns out I will also be live tomorrow for Jetnation and Greenbeanjetsfan. We will be live for every game, the entire season, as you guys know. This will be our third season doing every game. Good. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good game. But you can also join the Beanbaggers with the description in the link in the description. And one more time, I will mention the Wayward Jets Fan Fund. If you have it in you, throw a $5 at us, throw a $10 bill at us, and help us get some Jets fans from around the country and the world who've never been to a home Jets game. Let's get them in there, and so they can share in the utter pain of being there when we lose. Okay, so there you go. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. This was a good show. Hold on, let me get that off. And again, we will see you next time. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, man. I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.